following is a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Out wide right with Ladero onto his favorite left foot. Finds Jack McGlynn centrally, just hit the post moments ago. No whistle as Musa got a tug of the jersey. We play on, ball in behind for Julio. Foot race here. Anderson, Julio, past Tarbell, empty net. Anderson, Julio!
FC Dallas is back at Toyota Stadium, riding a 4-game unbeaten streak and now take on in-state rivals Austin FC. It's also returned to Frisco for former head coach Nico Estevez, who departed FC Dallas just over 1 year ago and now leads Austin FC against his former club. Estevez and Austin arrive at Toyota Stadium in great form, having lost just once in their last 8 games, meaning Dallas trails Austin by 10 points with 6 games remaining in the regular season. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. I'm your host, Garrett Melcer, and the commentary team for this evening is Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, as well as FC Dallas midfielder Paxton Pomykal, who's working back to full fitness and will be joining us on the broadcast closer to kickoff. But first, we bring in Steve Davis for a look at tonight's major headlines. First off, Steve, tonight is FC Dallas's last game against a Texas rival, at least in the regular season, of course, so there's a little bit of extra on the line. One thing is, Copa Tejas has already been decided. Houston confirmed that title after Dallas and Austin tied last month. Still, there is more than just bragging rights up for grabs. What would a win tonight mean for FC Dallas?
First of all, howdy there, Garrett. And there I am. First of all, howdy, Garrett. Good to be here with you. Copa Tejas, the less said the better, as far as I'm concerned now. It's amazing. I'd forgotten that it's really just a year ago that Nicolas Tevez left. It seems like 3 years ago, but here we are. So as far as the match, what it means, look, when a season is not going exactly to plan, what I always say, Garrett, is stay in the conversation. Just stay in the conversation. There's no sugarcoating it here. 12th place is not where you want to be in match day 33, right? But one win right now puts them 1 point out of that last playoff spot. San Jose, they've got a game in hand, so they win a game tonight. At least temporarily, they would be 1 point out of that last playoff spot. That is in the conversation. So that's what you want to be for Austin. They are sitting in 6th. They would love to get up to 4th because, like everybody else in world soccer, you want home games in the matches that matter. And if you get up into 4th, that would get them into that if they can nick Seattle for that 4th place in MLS West. I think that's the only one that they can really realistically catch. That's what they're aiming for. So points are absolutely precious in this one on both sides, Garrett.
And in terms of that playoff race, if Dallas is going to get there, they will have to go on a run. And the good thing is, FC Dallas is unbeaten in 4 games and have only lost once in their last 7. Steve, in your opinion, what has Eric Quill's team been doing right over the last month and a half or so?
Pretty simple, man. More focus on defense. They went to that 5-man back line. Getting Osase Urigide in the lineup, back in the lineup and healthy, that is absolutely not going to hurt anything. They're getting solid goalkeeping play. That's going to be a theme of the night because whether it's Martin Paz, Michael Colodi, or last week, the guy that none of us knew or, a lot of the fans didn't know, Jacob Jackson, they're getting solid goalkeeping play. So when you get solid at the back, you're in every game. And that's what they're getting right now. They're getting something from Bernie Kamungo in the back. We didn't know he'd be quite as good defensively as he is at that wingback spot, so that's helping. And then they're also this has to be said too. They're not trying to play out of the back. I think this team has gotten a good feel for what they are now. Not trying to play out of the back and not trying to shoot yourself in the foot that way. I think that's helping as well.
You mentioned the formation change there, going from a back 4, which we'd seen over the first 2/3 of the season, but now a back 5 for the last month and a half or so. Do you think that has been the impetus for this improvement in form in your mind?
Yeah, look, I think it's a lot of things. It is that you got Christian Kappas, who I think is doing a good job in the midfield. I think Ramiro going over to that right side at a wingback position. It looks like he seems like he'd be a duck out of water over there, because he's a central midfielder now, has to be playing as a wingback, but I think he's doing pretty well. So it's not just the back 5, but I think the back 5 is allowing them to get more of the quality on the roster on the field. I think when you look at the right wingback spot, getting Ramiro over there, allows him to get Kaike and Kappas on the field, right? Otherwise, I think you got to pick 2 of the 3, but this way you get all 3 of them on there.
And I mentioned that Dallas is on a 4-game unbeaten run. Unfortunately, the last 3 of those have been draws. Steve, you know it's possible in this league especially to draw your way out of the playoff picture. Is Dallas in danger of that in your mind at all?
Yeah. I mean, look, every time they're getting these draws, it's a point earned, but you could also see it at this point of the season as 2 points lost. It's funny, Garrett, because I always think back to what Shellis Heinma used to call a poor man's blanket. That is, if you pull it up to your shoulders, you keep this part warm, but your feet get cold. But you push it down on your feet, well, and I think that's what it is when I look at these draws right now, because I just told you the unbeaten run is about defense, right? But when you focus on defense, yeah, you're in every game, and that's great. But it reduces your attacking potential, and the resulting numbers. Honestly, they're not great, because FC Dallas has averaged 8.6 shots a game over the last 5 games. Okay, 8.6 shots. The best teams in the league average 15+ shots a game. So you can see where that is. Most teams are around that 12 or 13, so they're just not getting the attacking volume, but it's because of that focus on defense. So it's a little bit of that poor man's blanket. You cover up this end, but you lose a little bit on the other end.
That balance between attack and defense, is that the million-dollar question in terms of how do you find that balance, and is that the most important thing to turning some of these draws into wins going forward?
Yeah, it is. We know Eric is trying. Eric Quill, manager, is trying, and that's reflected in some of his personnel choices. I just told you, Ramiro over as a right back, I think that does allow him it allows Dallas to play out of the back more cleanly, because he knows he's got to get out of the back clean and get the ball into midfield. I think, the choices in midfield, he needs Kappas. He's gotten on Christian Kappas about not being aggressive enough. Look, you got to play forward. Don't play safe. It's not what I brought you here for. I know you can play forward, so play forward. I think Shaq, as we're going to see, Shaq Moore as a left-sided center back. I know that's one thing about speed and matching up, and we'll talk about that in a little while, matching up with Osman Bakari, but it's also because he wants Shaq getting forward as a left-sided center back. Usually in a 3, you don't think of those guys getting forward, but he keeps referring to Steven Moreira for Columbus, and that guy, every time I watch Columbus, yeah, he's a right-sided center back, but every time I see him with the ball, he looks like a midfielder. He's that far up the field, and that's what he wants out of Shaq. So Eric Will knows he's got to get players forward. He's got to get the ball forward. They've got to get more volume in the attacking third, and he's trying to turn these draws into wins,
And the first chance to do that is tonight against Austin FC, who are, of course, led by Nico Estevez, who spent 2.5 seasons here as the head coach of FC Dallas before departing midway through last season. Steve, what did you make of Nico Estevez's time here?
Well, I think we saw pretty quickly here a few things about Nico Estevez, a darn solid tactician. One of the things that Nico always did, and we'll talk about it tonight, is he found ways. He found the soft spots in the other teams, and he found ways, to poke holes in that a little bit. Now as time went on, I think we saw the flaws in Nico Estevez. In that, look, he was a first-time professional manager, and no matter what any of us do in our lives, I think the first time we're at a high level at something, there's a learning curve, and I think Nico maybe struggled a little bit to adjust. I think he always had a solid plan, right? A solid tactical plan, but when injuries started happening, how did he adjust? And I think that's what he sort of struggled with. But as far as what I think about his time here, solid tactician. His teams are always very organized behind the ball, just like they are at Austin right now, and also just a solid human being too.
Absolutely. Nico, great guy. There's no doubt about it. And he has Austin in 6th place in the West, especially thanks to a recent run of form that includes 6 wins and 3 ties in their last 11 outings. What have you made of Nico's Austin so far this year? Have you seen any similarities to the better versions of FC Dallas, especially in the 2022 season?
Any similarities? Look the same. Yeah, just what you'd expect. Nothing different. Solid defensively, mostly tidy on the ball, want to keep the ball. They're a little bit more direct than he had his teams going here in Dallas, but very well organized in rest defense. That means, when they have the ball, where are they positioned behind the ball in case they do lose possession. Very well organized there. I think, the attacking designated players have let them down a little bit this year. Brandon Vasquez's injury a couple of months ago, that that certainly hasn't helped anything. But they can hit you in transition behind Osman Bakari. Again, I think that's why Shaq is going to sort of try to match up against him tonight a little bit. So Bakari can hit you in transition. I think Deddy Pereira and sometimes Elias Sanchez is not in the lineup tonight, but I think they control possession pretty well in the midfield. And then Owen Wolf, man, that guy, 20 years old. I really think he's got U.S. national team potential. He's only 20, but he's already made 75 MLS starts because he was starting back when he was 16 years old sometimes. And they can play him in midfield. They can play him out wide, and he's equally good, and he's gotten hot lately. So Austin does have ways to hurt you.
Look, we know that Nico Estevez would love to come back to FC Dallas and give Austin FC their first win at Toyota Stadium. But there is an important wrinkle tonight for Austin because they travel to Minnesota to play in the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup next Wednesday. It's a very short turnaround. Do you think that could have an effect on tonight's game, Steve?
Yeah, so you call it a wrinkle. I think it was more than a wrinkle. I don't think any of us knew what kind of lineup Nico Estevez was going to put out there until we saw it on the sheet tonight. It looks like they're going for it. They're going to try to stick it to the Texas rival a little bit. Not to mention the team that dismissed him, as you said just a year ago. I really thought they might rotate a little bit more because going to do a semifinal in the Open Cup, that's a chance for an important trophy. And turns out he's got most of the heavy weapons out there tonight. Now, will he? Nico doesn't like to sub real early. If you look at his numbers, the same way here in Dallas, he tends to wait a little bit. I think his subs are averaging about 16 minutes a match. For Austin this year, that's pretty low as the stats go. So maybe he brings in subs a little bit earlier tonight. And, of course, game state is going to dictate that a lot. If they're up, or more likely if FC Dallas is up 3-0, he might just run the white flag up a little bit earlier and go to the subs and sort of save a few legs for Wednesday night.
It will be very interesting because that's a huge game for them Wednesday night. A chance to progress with a chance to win their first major trophy as a club. When we return on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll hear from goalkeeper Jacob Jackson, who's making his first start for FC Dallas tonight. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Logan Farrington, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long, when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date and location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me to break down the lineups and tactics for tonight's showdown. But while we have a moment, a reminder about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, your hub for everything FC Dallas. In addition to our signature post-game show, we've added the FC Dallas Agenda podcast dropping almost every Wednesday. Ryan, Steve, and myself break down all the important storylines in the FC Dallas world while speaking with all the major newsmakers and important figures. Already in the archives, you'll hear from luminaries such as FC Dallas head coach Eric Quill, Chief Soccer Officer Andre Zanata, and a variety of the FC Dallas roster. Search FC Dallas Radio Network on your podcast provider and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content. And speaking of the FC Dallas agenda, one of this week's guests was the man of the moment, goalkeeper Jacob Jackson, who came off the bench last week to make 12 saves in FC Dallas's 1-1 draw in St. Louis. Now let's hear from the reigning MLS Player of the Matchday, who will once again be minding FC Dallas's net tonight. Let's talk about Saturday's game, right? Just quite the experience for everyone involved. Set the stage, we're in St. Louis. Michael Collodi gets a 16th minute red card. You're the man up on the bench. What's going through your head immediately when you see the referee raise the red card and know that you're about to make your debut?
Really nothing. Kind of like I said originally after the game, opportunity comes when it comes. You just always have to be ready for it. Like I said, I have my own opinions about the red card, whether if it is red or not. Again, I have no control over that. But at that time, it was just get ready for the game and do everything I can to help the team win or get as many points as we can on the road. St. Louis is a good team, and it's a tough stadium, tons of fans there. So it did feel like our backs were against the wall, but luckily we were able to get a point and continue fighting for, that playoff spot.
Once you're in, basically immediately you're making saves right off the bat, and then throughout the rest of the game. They had 44 shots, which is the most the club's ever faced going back to 96. And the 12 saves you made tied the club record going back to 1998, tying Mark Dodd, who's an FC Dallas legend. Just talk me through what that game was like. I mean, you have to be absolutely locked in every minute because every 3 minutes you're basically making a diving save. So just what was it like playing in that match?
It was fun. Like I said, it's been a while since I played. We had two good goalkeepers in San Diego with CJ and Pablo. And then here, of course, you have Martin Paz and Michael Collodi. They're two unbelievable goalkeepers. So, I just try to follow what they do. You see it day in and day out. It's a group effort with the goalkeeper group. And I just wanted to make them proud, coaches proud, parents proud, et cetera. And, it was just, you take the moment and the chance and just have fun with it. And that's the biggest thing, no one gets into playing soccer to just play for a job. We're all trying to have fun, and it was just fun to get back on the field and play for something. And I think it showed, and hopefully I can show it again if my number's called.
After the game, you guys got the point on the road, a huge point in terms of the playoff race. Dallas really needs every point they can get right now. And then maybe you start seeing the stats in terms of the amount of saves that you had, all the shots that came in, and the club records and whatnot. Has that aspect of it sunk in terms of, that was a lights-out performance? And then, of course, yesterday you're named the MLS Player of the Week.
Not necessarily. It's a cool honor. I'm really excited to have it. But I think the script's flipped now to worrying about Austin and having a good week of training. And, at the end of the day, it's awesome to get an award like that. But I do have to shout out our defenders. Ozaze, Shaq had an amazing block in the second half to keep Klaus from scoring. And those are the things that I think need to be pointed out a lot. At the end of the day, it is a team effort. I'm very excited to have that award. That's sunk in, I got my congratulations, but I think now the time is to focus on Austin. That is a derby match and a rivalry here in Texas, so we're looking forward to that. And that's just kind of what we're doing.
That was FC Dallas goalkeeper Jacob Jackson, who will make his first MLS start in over 1 year tonight against Austin FC. We'll talk through the rest of the starting lineup with commentators Ryan Figert and Steve Davis right after this break.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar. At the world of WinStar.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Leggett, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas radio network. We're about 15 minutes from kickoff between Dallas and Austin FC here at Toyota Stadium. Now let's get you the starting lineups for tonight's match, which are brought to you by Advocare. Starting first with Nico Estevez's Austin FC. In goal, it's the MLS All-Star Brad Stuver, with the back line in front of him containing Brendan Heinzeich, Alexander Svatok, John Gallagher, and Guillermo Biro. In midfield, there is Danny Pereira, Nicholas Dubasarski, Owen Wolf, Osman Bakari, and former FC Dallas winger Hader Obrian. Up top, the lone striker is Diego Rubio. And now let's hear the starting lineup for FC Dallas and first-year head coach Eric Quill.
Jacob Jackson, goalkeeper, San Diego, California.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Osaze Origide, center back, Netherlands, Nijmegen.
Sebastian Ibiaga, center back, Duke University.
Ramiro Benetti, midfielder, Brazil.
Christian Capes, midfielder, Houston, Texas.
Kaique, midfield, Brazil.
Bernard Camungo, I'm a winger, and I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Patrickson, mediocampista, Ecuador.
Logan Farrington, striker, Racine, Wisconsin.
Petar Musa, forward, from Zagreb, Croatia.
Those were tonight's lineups, and now we bring in the commentary team for tonight's match, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. Ryan, we'll start with the main man that we just heard from, Jacob Jackson, who's making his first start for the club tonight. He made a great first impression as a sub last time out with 12 saves, tying a club record going back to 1998. How important is it for Jackson to carry in that momentum into tonight's match?
So important because, right, the goalkeeper sets the confidence for the back line, you know, whether it's making saves, coming out off the line, distributing with confidence. He showed us some of all of that in his cameo off the bench, more than cameo, his flashy appearance off the bench in St. Louis, over 70 minutes last week, 12 saves, matching the team record. I mean, incredible performance. If he can carry even, you know, some of that into tonight's match, that's going to give him and the backline plenty of confidence. You know, just talking to him this week, getting to know him, and he's barely been here a month now, and he comes from a family of athletes, which I think is really interesting. He's used to these moments. He lives for these moments, these competitive moments when he gets into the game. You know, as a third-string goalkeeper over most of his career in MLS, he hasn't had many opportunities. So you know it's got to feel good for him to have an entire week to prepare, not just to be thrown into the action like he was last week, to build up to this one. He's got friends and family in the house, and, you know, he really sets the tone for the Dallas backline tonight.
An absolutely impressive debut from Jacob Jackson. And in front of him, there is a change on the back line, and that's Sebastian Ibiaga replacing Lalas Abubakar. Now, Lalas did unfortunately make an error that led to Michael Coloddi's red card, and that's why we saw Jacob Jackson as a first-half substitute last week. Do you think that mistake may have forced Eric Quill's hand a little bit, or could this just be a rotation thing, seeing that Ibiaga back in the lineup?
I mean, it could be a form thing, but I think he's sort of rotated between those two all season long. They have different qualities, but ultimately they're both, you know, a good veteran presence to have back there. Either way, when you have Osaze in the middle of the back three, which is where we expect him to play tonight, I feel confident with either of them on either side. I think they're better as that sort of complementary piece where Osaze can do the sweeping up, the distributing from the middle of the field, where all the passing lanes are open to him. So I'm looking more at Osaze and seeing Ibiaga as sort of that complement on the right side tonight.
Lining up with Ibiaga on the back line is Shaq Moore. Now, Steve, we know that Shaq Moore is naturally a fullback, but Eric Quill has really liked him in that center back spot recently. But tonight he does move from the right side of the back line to the left. What do you make of that change?
I don't think it's going to be really easy for him. So last week we talked to him about having never played as a center back in a three before. Well, this week he moves over to the left, and it does change the angles a little bit. We could ask Paxton about this as we get to the broadcast later, but you know, the thing is, if you're left-footed on the left side, you always have an out. You know, you could always play safely to the outside. When you're right-footed over there, it's a little bit more difficult. So we'll see how he adjusts, but we know that Eric Quill wants him getting forward a little bit more than a center back usually would, because they need goals, they need wins. The ties are great, but they're not going to get you in the playoffs at this point. They need a win.
Yeah, for me, it's the biggest question mark in the lineup, right? Because when you look at it on paper, you'd think, okay, Shackmore's going to play as the right-sided center back where he's been playing recently. It's a big call to move him way out of his natural position, out of his comfort zone, and play on the left side. If he can be that sort of, slashing player into midfield and have a driving force from the back line, then it's a huge win. But I think Eric Quill's really taking a risk and putting him there, and maybe it's high risk, high reward. Obviously, his experience and defensive know-how can help Bernie Kamungo up against a good 1v1 threat in Bukhari on that side. I think that's a lot of the thinking with putting him on the left side, but it's a big ask for him. Like Steve said, playing a new position 2 weeks ago, now playing a whole new position this week.
I was going to bring up that Bukhari on that right wing for Austin might be part of the thinking there. But with Shaq Moore occupied on the back line, it is the veteran Ramiro entrusted as the right wing back. Now, we know he's naturally a midfielder, but he has played a variety of positions this season, and we know he's played fullback back in Brazil. Ryan, what are the positives and potentially the negatives of Ramiro in that spot for Dallas tonight?
Yeah, I talked to Ramiro at training yesterday. He's very confident in his ability playing in the wide areas. Look, he knows that he's not the fastest guy on the field, but that goes into how he plays the position. He's going to be measured. He's going to be, reasonable with his positioning. He's not going to put himself way up the field and have to make, 60-yard sprint back trying to track down somebody with speed like Jader Obrian. I think his experience and his know-how is going to, carry him through the game at right wing back, and he's been doing a serviceable job in that position over the last couple of weeks, so I'm not too worried about it. I do like him better in the middle of the field, but in this current lineup, there's only 2 spots in there, and I think both Ka'ike and Kappas have been playing well as a tandem, so I'm not surprised to see Ramiro out wide.
Now, looking at the other end of the field, there is a change up top with Logan Farrington getting the start alongside Peter Musa. He replaces Anderson Julio, who started last match. Steve, in your mind, what is Eric Quill looking for with that change?
So when Austin plays on the road, they tend to sit a little bit deeper. I think if it was a team that played a higher line and there's more of a chance of Anderson Julio and using his speed to get it behind, there might have been a different selection. But this is Austin sitting back a little bit. I think it sort of tips to that. Also, Anderson Julio just hasn't been able to make a big impact since he got back in the lineup and got back healthy again. So that probably has a little bit to do with the thinking too, because Logan is going to get out there. He's going to make the game. He's going to find the ball. He's going to get on the ball a lot. Logan Farrington, we know he's just a high action, high event player. If he could get the ball off his foot just a little bit faster in certain situations and sort of keep the offense going, then I think he'd be really effective.
Ryan, I want to ask about the midfield, in particular Christian Kappas. He only joined the club about a month and a half ago, but he's really made his mark very recently. And we know that him and Eric Quill go way back to their Houston Texans days in the youth academy. But what have you made of Kappas' performance since arriving?
Yeah, him and Paxton go way back. I think we're going to hear about that a little bit later on the broadcast as well. But he's obviously got roots here. He's got relationships here. I think that it's helped with his adaptation coming back to Dallas. But look, he's grown game after game after game. Eric Quill admitted he put him into a really difficult situation when he made his debut as a left wing back coming from Scandinavia straight into the middle of a Texas summer. And obviously Dallas drops that game to New York City when he came into the second half. Not really completely down to him by any means, but a difficult situation to be inserted into. Since then, for me, he's built week on week on week, and particularly in the first half, over the last 2 games, he's been outstanding. Probably the best player on the field, not named Peter Musa for FC Dallas over the last 2 weeks. And I'm excited to see if he can bring that and maybe even go deeper into the game and have that impact late in the second half as well.
He certainly brings a different dynamic. Now, before we talk about Austin FC, I'll just quickly go through the bench options for Eric Quill tonight. It's Laos Abubakar, Sebastian Lletget, the aforementioned Anderson Julio, Pedrinho, Josh Torquato, Sam Sarver, Nolan Norris, Diego Garcia, and goalkeeper JT Harms, who is called up on a short-term loan from North Texas SC, with Michael Collodi still serving that red card suspension and Martin Paz still dealing with a muscle injury. Now, on to Austin FC. I think we kind of mentioned it a little earlier. Their main threat has to be Owen Wolff. The midfielder has 5 goals and 2 assists in his last 7 games in what's quickly becoming a really impressive breakout season for the 20-year-old. Steve, what have you seen from Owen Wolff, and how does Dallas slow him down?
I tell you what, man, he hit a peach of a goal against Sporting Kansas City last time out as Austin went on the road and won up in the Midwest. Look, he's scoring lately. He got challenged a little bit by manager Nico Estevez. He's answered the call. He's scoring from close range with his head. He's scoring from outside the penalty area. He's got a lot of bite to his game. so he's doing a little bit of everything. He's played in the midfield this year for them. He's played on the left wing. That gives him a lot of versatility. I'm not even sure where he's going to line up tonight because, is it going to be Rubio up at the top? Rubio's played a little bit in the midfield for them. Is it going to be Jader Obrian over on the left with his speed against Ramiro, or is that Owen Wolf over there? So he can do a lot of things.
I think we could see Owen Wolf playing a little bit more advanced with the designated player, Murto Ozuni, on the bench. I think that might have to do with either the Open Cup or the fact that Ozuni was away with his national team over in Europe. Ryan, the other DP that is on the field, Osman Bukhari on the right wing. He's got a ton of speed. He's very direct. What do you see that Dallas needs to do tonight to slow him down?
Yeah, I think Bernard Kamungo is, he's going to be accustomed to this matchup. He just did it a month ago, and I think he did a really good job up against Bukhari. He's a relentless 1v1 player. You can't lose a single battle all night if you're the defensive player, right? That's the nature of these things. All he has to do is beat you once and create a goal or create an assist. But Bernie was able to shut him down effectively in Austin, and here at home, I think he's well poised to do the same. It's going to be down to him and Shaq Moore to keep Bukhari quiet. A lot of speed, but also a lot of craft 1v1. And he's rounded into form as well, similar to Owen Wolf, getting more goal contributions of late, up to 10 on the season.
A kind of similar player now that I think about is Jader Obrian, who of course played for FC Dallas for 3 years under Nico Estevez. I think we saw him score an offside goal against Dallas last year and celebrate wildly. It ended up not counting, but we know that he would love to score here back at Toyota Stadium. Does he bring another dimension similar to that on the left wing?
Yeah, I think he's more of the stretch in behind guy compared to Bukhari, who can do that, but also likes to have the ball to feet, go 1v1. Jader, he's every Dallas fan that watched games over his tenure here knows the strengths that he has, but also the frustrations that you have with Jader. He doesn't do a good job with his positioning all the times. He's offside a lot, not always clean with the finishing, but his speed is always a threat, and Dallas will have to be wary whether he's leading the line or off on the wing.
Hey, on the coaching board in there, maybe Paxton knows this. As they gave the pregame talk, who was assigned to go over and tell Jader Obrian he didn't score a goal like Omar Gonzalez did last year if he has to score, if he scores one that's actually outside.
It's right there, and it's like, near post corner kicks. Here's who's in the wall, and then here's who tells Jader when he was offside.
Absolutely.
That was an incredible moment as he celebrated for a full 45 seconds before realizing the flag had gone up.
And it would have been longer, but Omar had to go over there and tell him.
It would have been. And now we'll go to the keys to the game, and for those we turn to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Garrett. Look, tonight they got to get more possession. That's the first key. 37% last time against Austin. They're at home now. 37% last time against Austin. That was a season low. So Ramiro passing out of the back from the wingback position, plus Kappa's ability to move the ball through midfield should help. But they can't get caught defending for the long stretches like they did down in Austin before. Number two, more set pieces. Austin struggled to defend set pieces a little bit against Kansas City. FC Dallas has some tall trees in the lineup. We'll talk about that a little bit. But the key here, they've got to get more volume in the final third and get into the final third effectively so they can create more set-piece opportunities. And then number three is a steady Jacob Jackson. He doesn't have to be amazing tonight, guys. He just has to. He doesn't need to be risky in the build-out. FC Dallas isn't really committed to the build-out. He just got to be steady, do the boring stuff, trust the guys in front of him. Austin's attack is okay, but it's not special. So he just got to be solid and capable in the routine stuff. And those are your keys, presented by Toyota.
Thank you very much, Steve. And that'll do it for tonight's pregame show. When we return, it'll be Ryan, Steve, and FC Dallas midfielder Paxton Pomykal getting you ready for tonight's game between FC Dallas and Austin FC. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of champion.
Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas. where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Ibiaga. Tonight's FC Dallas match is up next, right here on the FC Dallas app.
Well, welcome to Toyota Stadium tonight, deep in the home stretch of the MLS season, where we've got a matchup that everyone circled back when the schedule dropped in January. Former Dallas manager Nico Estevez makes his return to Frisco, now in charge of arch rival Austin FC. Of course, it comes at a time when the Burn desperately need a win in the worst way. This one's not short of storylines as we play on Superhero Night. Fans hoping to see Pedro Musa pull on the cape and be the hero in this Copa Tejas matchup. A matchup he has truly loved over the past 2 seasons. We've got heroes, villains, toros, trees. We've got it all, and we're glad you're joining us tonight, wherever you're watching and listening on the FC Dallas Radio Network. I'm Ryan Figert, joined tonight, as always, by Steve Davis. But our special guest in the booth tonight is Paxton Pomykal. Pax, how are you doing? It's a joy to have you here tonight.
I mean, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. I saw Martin came on the radio show, and I couldn't let my Dutch-Indonesian teammate, one-up me, so I had to come join you guys and see what it's all about.
Yeah, you set a good standard, and of course, we're really happy to have you here tonight, but we'd rather see you out on the field. So why don't you get it out of the way. Let's get the update on where you're doing, where you're at in the rehab process, and when we might see you back out there.
Yeah, coming along really well. My knee feels really good, and I'm back in cleats and back with the team every day, so you guys should see me before the season ends.
Yeah, working hard out on the training field now and doing double duty in the booth tonight. I mean, it's a busy day for you. And Steve, we'll bring you in now. What are you seeing from the teams as we're getting set for kickoff here?
What am I seeing from the teams? I'm seeing 2 teams that need points tonight, Ryan. As we said a while ago in the game setup, Dallas desperate to get in the playoffs. You don't want to miss playoffs for 2 years in a row in Major League Soccer. Austin, they want to elevate their position from 6 right now into that 4th spot. Maybe they catch Seattle, so points are absolute goal tonight.
Well, Nico Estevez, maybe knowing a little bit about the way things are done around here, has had his team switch to the other side after winning the coin toss. So Dallas will attack towards their supporters, towards the National Soccer Hall of Fame here in the first half. Dallas wearing the red and blue. That means they'll move from left to right as we're watching here in the booth. Austin wearing their cream and green will move from right to left here in the first half. Paxton, I've got a talking point I want to hit before we get to kick off here, and that's slow starts. It's been something that's plagued this team this season. They've conceded they conceded first in a large majority of the games this year under Eric Quill. What is it, that goes into the start, getting the team motivated, getting those fast starts? In your opinion, what does it take to start well?
Yeah, I think it's just minimizing mistakes, and I think you'll see that a little bit tonight. Is just we shot ourselves in the foot the other night and got off to a bad start and ended up unfortunately going down a man, and at the end of the day, when you go down a man in this league, it's really tough to come back, and obviously we got points from it, which is great, but this is a point in the season where ties aren't going to cut it, and we need to get wins. So I think you'll see a little bit of chess match at the beginning of the game, and try not to just give stuff too easy up to the opponent, and build into the game.
Looks like Logan Farrington's going to get us underway here. He's waiting in the center circle. Dallas sending 4 wide to the left. Maybe something drawn up here from the kickoff as we sing deep in the heart of Texas. It's a first start in Dallas colors for Jacob Jackson. He's in net down to our left. All-star Brad Stuver in net down to our right. The man in the middle tonight, Victor Rivas, the 2023 MLS Referee of the Year. We await his whistle to get things underway here from Toyota Stadium tonight.
Pax, you mentioned the chess match. Is that generally tactical, coach's instructions, hey, let's be careful first 10 or 15 minutes, or is that individual? Players just not wanting to make that mistake early?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I think, like I said, we shot ourselves in the foot last week, and so that's going to be in the back of their minds a little bit. And building into the game and not giving up something so easy early on is super important. So I think it's a combination of coming from the coaching staff, but also just guys recognizing that, we need to implement ourselves and not go down early.
Waiting for these final seconds to take away before we get things going. Waiting on the referee's whistle. It's Logan Farrington in the center circle. There is the whistle, and we are underway from Toyota Stadium tonight. Dropped all the way back to Jacob Jackson, who will launch it long. Petter Musa going to contest for this one. Remember last year when Austin was in town, some fireworks, some away from the play festivities between Musa and the Austin back line after he converted a penalty kick. There's a long ball launched the other way. Shackmore wins an early header. Kaique will bring it down in midfield. Ramiro, first time ball. Patrickson centrally. A lot of space. Options either way. Logan Farrington from the right side. Low shot. Palmed away by Stuver. And it's a great start for Dallas here in the opening 30 seconds. And last touch was off of Austin. It'll be a throw-in in the attacking third here. That's exactly how we wanted to start, Pax, talking about getting off in a good way.
Absolutely. I mean, tell you what, that's the first 60 seconds that you want to see, and as soon as Logan gets in box, you know he's going to try to rip it. So putting efforts on target, trying to get rebounds, we need to test Brad early and see what we can do.
Ebiaga looking to test the back line, bending one in behind. Heinz Ike deals with it. Farrington trying to fight for the second ball, where Owen Wolf picks it up, and he's been in red-hot form of late.
I love the quick play a minute ago. Really good initiative by Kaique and Ramiro, the two Brazilians there, as they really kept that attack going. You got it going with some good, crisp one-touch passes.
Now we see Jacob Jackson joining in with the back line, way out off his line to send this one long, looking for the run of Farrington. It breaks from Musa on the second ball. Musa centrally, 20 yards from goal, cutting back to his right foot, stabs it towards Farrington. Farrington back heel. Petter Musa all alone. Petter Musa off the mark. Here we go.
What a cheeky little back heel that was.
The strike partnership, Moosington, whatever you want to call it. Eyes in the back of the head of Logan Farrington to pick out Petter Musa, who scores against a Texas rival. He does it every week.
That's Musa and Farrington doing a lot of good work there to keep that thing going. But hey, who knew Farrington had that little back heel right there? And then Musa's wide open because it's somebody along the backside. We'll get a better look at it here that leaves him onside. Yeah, it's the left back over there, Biero, that leaves him onside, and he's not going to miss from there, Petter Musa. At about 10 yards, only the keeper to beat. 1-0.
Well, Steve, that's his second back heel assist of the season. I think you forget about the one in San Jose when he picked up the second assist on a nice little layoff.
I did, you're right.
So he's shown us this before, but that is cheeky. And Petter Musa uncontested inside the box. I mean, you might as well write down the goal.
Well, we really didn't talk much about it in the pregame, but that's goal number 15. That leaves Petter Musa 3 short of the FC Dallas record, shared by 3 people right now.
And in this form that he's in, he might hit it tonight. I mean, 90 seconds in.
All right, let's don't get carried away.
Here's Musa again, now spreading the play out to Bernie Kamungo, driving forward into space on the left side. Options either way. Pokes it out towards Petter Musa once again. Lifts this cross in. That was Kappas actually looking for Musa. Dallas will pick up the second ball. And there you go. Turns out the key to a fast start is just getting Paxton Pomykal in the booth.
I tell you what, put me up here every game if we're going to start like that.
No.
Until I can play again. Until I can play again.
There you go. We'll certainly take that. Here's Ebiaga direct, looking for Farrington, can't control it.
Love seeing you up here. Want to see you down there.
Talk about the roommate connection, Logan and Petar. You know, you see that they're always trying to find one another, and they do really well when they're on the field at the same time, and you can see the connection that they have, obviously, on and off the field.
Yeah, you don't see a traditional, 2 big number 9s very often in the modern game, and we know Logan plays off the striker, even if his natural game is where Musa's playing, but he's able to complement him so well, as we saw in the goal.
21st goal contribution for Petter Musa this year, 3rd assist for Logan Farrington.
Here's Farrington able to evade 2 defenders and win a foul, and that's something we know he does well, whether the goals and assists are coming or not. That was Hader Obrian, the familiar face, committing the foul. Dallas going to send the center backs forward here. Ebiaga, Urquide.
Between Urquide, Ebiaga, Kappas has got a little size on him. Then Musa and Logan Farrington, you got 5 guys to aim at on these.
I don't think Austin is a particularly tall team either. So maybe an advantage to be had here from set plays. Dallas going to go short, try and build up here on the right side. Ramiro out wide for Patrickson. Back to Ramiro, sets it up for the cross here. First touch and now whipped in right towards Petter Musa, just over his head, but it's Ebiaga. Gets it on target, but it's a big save from Brad Stuver to keep this just a 1-goal game. And And when Musa gets all the attention, Ibiaga was looking to capitalize there.
And then Heinzike and Peter Musa having some words back behind the play. I'm not sure what Heinzike thought Peter Musa did. You can see Musa turned around as if to say, look, I got a right to try to go for the ball.
There's a miscue, turns it over to Farrington, 30 yards from goal. Dallas possess with Patrickson, wide for Kappas. Musa now backheel to Farrington, returning the favor. And he can't find Farrington on the follow-up. Now looking to counterattack, it's Austin. Urugide on the front foot commits the foul against Rubio. And now Rubio going long, looking to test this Dallas back line. Hader Obrian making the run. Jackson able to pick it up comfortably.
Hader Obrian against Ibiaga. Ramiro's not much of a matchup, but Jacob Jackson had that one measured.
Yeah, I think Ozaze in the middle there is smart. Just smart tactical fouls early on. Don't let them gain momentum. Try to prevent the counterattack and get back.
And Paxton, you were telling us you love playing in this matchup over the years. Of course, Dallas has been unbeaten at Toyota Stadium against Austin. There's a lot of pride in that against a local rival. What is it like since they've come into the league to play against Austin?
Yeah, this is the one I miss. This one's always fiery. I think the last game we saw a month ago down in Austin.
Here's a ball forward towards Bukhari. Urugide gets a touch to it.
I think the last one we saw down in Austin a month ago was a little bit less hectic than we've seen in the past. I feel like there's a lot of goals, a lot of firepower, a lot of fighting in this matchup, and it looks like we're going to get one of those games tonight.
There's another giveaway for Farrington now approaching the 18, out wide. Kappas, cutback ball for Kaique. Owen Wolf on his back. He does well to check the shoulder and turn out of pressure. Ramiro Patrickson wide for Peter Musa. Oh, look to return it to Patrickson on the 1-2, but it was well read by Biro, who will launch it down the field. Dallas with two center backs there to handle Diego Rubio.
Musa's pass didn't come off there, but I really liked the way Dallas is moving the ball really quickly.
Nice ball forward from Kappas between the lines. Now Patrickson through ball looking for Farrington. Heinzike with just enough pace to get there and cut it out.
I mean, Pax, look what the early goal does for you. Look how confident the team looks.
Yeah, I think we're pressing high, keeping the ball in their half, and good things happen when you play in the opponent's half.
And here's Bernie now inside the opponent's box for Farrington, top of the box, shot blocked by Hader Obrian, helping out defensively. And now tussling the other way off the long ball. Rubio is going to lose out again to Urugide and Ibiaga, and he might get the feeling he's in for a long night.
Yeah, I think traditionally with Rubio being a big target 9, it's an easy outlet for them to try to hit and get up the field. But when you're going against Ozaze, that's a tough feat regardless who you are.
I mean, I'm a little surprised if they go to that if they go to the well too often there, because I think for them the matchups they would like are Obrian and Bukhari on the outside as the outlets.
Well, those two having to be tasked with defending as Bukhari's chasing Shaq Moore, now driving forward from the left center back position. Out wide for Bernie Kamungo. Plenty of targets to aim at as he whips his cross in. Too much air underneath it. It's out for a throw on the other side. Well, there's the first foray forward for Shaq Moore from a new position. Pax, you've played all over the field. What's it like when you get that assignment somewhere you're not used to playing?
Yeah, I think that an experienced player like Shaq, I mean, he's been everywhere, done it all. I think someone like him, it's a pretty easy transition, especially he's got quality left foot, so it's not a problem sticking him on that left side. And I think it's just trying to get the guys you want on the field regardless of the positions that they're in.
AK settling in midfield. Quick 1-2 with Kappas. Farrington holding off his man, goes down. Another foul. Dubrsarski gets away with it that time.
Pax, you ever get asked to play a position due to a red card or what are the national team appearances or something that you weren't really familiar with, and you're like, I'm not sure about this one?
I tell you what, I'll play them all except goalkeeper.
Yeah. Here's a long ball from the goalkeeper, Jackson, into the feet of Farrington. Couldn't corral that one.
We speculated last week if something had unfortunately happened to Jackson, who would have gone in goal, you think?
Yeah, who's your vote?
Oh, man. There's not a lot of good options out there, is there?
I don't know. We thought there might be a couple of good options. I mean, you got some good athletes out there.
This is something I should probably know.
Maybe Logan?
Maybe Logan.
Logan was on the bench. I thought Alvaro maybe.
Alvaro, if he could come in.
Some chaos back there.
He's big enough.
Stuver's on the ball right now for Austin. He's going to lift this one in the midfield in towards Rubio. Flick towards Wolf. And wide for Biro. Now a switching ball towards Bukhari. Kamungo tracking back, has his eyes on the ball, and wins the header, nodding it out of play.
First defensive action for Bernie Kamungo. That's not an easy one, what he had to do, watching that ball come over his shoulder. Just headed it out of bounds nice and safely. Nice job there.
Mentioned guys playing out of position a little bit. Bernie is, traditionally more of a left winger, and now that we've transitioned more to 5 in the back and he's taken on that left wing back role, I think he's really grown into it and played well the past few games defensively.
Here's O'Brien up to Duberstarski at the byline now. Chipped ball in towards the back post, and it's arriving for Gallagher. Cleared away by Kappas after the Irish right back won the header. First really foray forward for Austin into the attacking third there.
Yeah, Pax, we've talked about Bernie and how well we think he's done in there on the defensive side. Obviously, he's not getting forward as much, but I think he's doing a really good job of being responsible and concentrating on his defensive duties.
Yeah, I think he grew a lot in the game against LAFC. Having a guy like Denny playing against him and doing what he did and really trying to defend really well against him, I thought he grew in that game, and you've seen post LAFC, he's really played really well.
Austin with some sustained possession here in the attacking third. It's out to Gallagher here in the 11th minute. Bukhari dropping off the line. Will lay it back for Svatok at the halfway line. Hindsight quickly closed down by Farrington, who's not going to give him an easy one tonight. Here's one in behind, chipped for the run of Bukhari. Shackmore looking to get his body in the way, and Shackmore wins the foul from the Ghanaian. Kamungo had his first test moments ago. There's Shackmore's first defensive test of the night.
Yeah, a lot of body and a lot of grabbing there from Bukhari. I thought Shaq was going to get on the wrong side of him there for just a second, but did a good job of just hanging in there, being tough, being strong and physical until he got the foul call from Victor Rivas.
Jackson will send the team up the field. Austin starting to show some signs of life after an electric opening 10 minutes for Dallas here at home. Jackson long towards Patrickson. Header won by Svatok for Austin. Second ball, header won by Kamungo. Turned over to Austin. Gallagher towards Bukhari. Tried to dummy it. Shackmore read it well. Still no clear winner of this possession. Eventually it breaks for Austin. Biru from left back into the feet of Wolf. Wolf given a really fortunate call there on the halfway line as he went for a Cruyff flick. It came off.
Yeah, we're pretty far away here, but I don't know about that one.
There was maybe a good counterattacking opportunity wiped off by the referee's whistle there. There's a ball down the line for O'Brien. Space for him. Ramiro in retreat. Rolls it across the edge of the 18. Picked off there by Shackmore. Patrickson through the middle third. A little bit of a difficult ball to deal with, but he manages to maintain possession and now lifts it ahead. Second ball breaks for Farrington. Kappas wide on the right. Kappas down the line for Musa. Into the feet of Patrickson, back to Musa. Nice deke there, gets past Owen Wolf and spreads it out to Shackmore. I think Petar Musa watches, the highlights of derby games in Serbia and Croatia and just gets fired up for these Texas matchups, man. He's played in some big ones, Porto, Benfica, and he's shown the quality in these rivalry games, whether it's Houston or Austin. Ibiaga looking for a run out of midfield there from Kappas, just missed him.
Yeah, boy, he found a nice little pocket of space there, Kappas did, and Ibiaga just didn't quite get the weight right on the pass, but that's watch for that one again.
Stuver on the ball.
Paxton, do you think maybe Dallas caught Austin a little bit surprised with the amount of high pressure? And I mean, Dallas hasn't done real well in field tilt this year. And the percentage of the action that happens on the other guy's half. But I know Eric wanted to push the game into their half this tonight. It looks like they've caught Austin a little bit surprised.
Yeah, it seems that way. But a team like Austin and Nico being at the helm, he should know that coming in here and.
Here's Patrickson, shot from the top of the box, set up by Farrington over the bar. Still looking for his first goal, but that was a decent hit there.
Coming in here with the positions that each team is in the table, he should know that this is make or break and that we're going to press high and try to be the dominant team right out the gate. So it did seem like we surprised them a little bit, but to be expected out of the gate.
And after 7 or 8 minutes, it looked like Austin really sort of started putting their foot on the ball a little bit more.
Svatok direct, looking for Bukhari in behind. Shackmore wins the header. Comfortable for Osaze to bring that one down. Now Kappas can get turned in midfield. Wide for Kamungo. Down the line for Farrington. Back for Bernard. Patrickson will lay this one off for Kaike centrally here. Swinging it out to Ramiro on this near side. Ramiro looked to go through the legs of Obrian, nearly came off, but it deflects Austin's way. Ramiro starting to counter press on his own there. Forces Austin to go out the other side. And they've got themselves in a bit of trouble here. Kamungo unlucky not to come away with that one. Now Gallagher finds the ball ahead for Pereira. Pereira been sent off here at Toyota Stadium. Not the only one in Austin colors to pick up a red card and really change the face of these games. Big part of the reason Austin's never won here in 6 tries. Here's a ball ahead for Owen Wolf. At the byline, poked away by Ibiaga. Austin will recycle here with Heinz Eich. Dubersarski filling in for Ilie, the experienced captain of Austin FC. He's been dealing with some injuries, and I think they want him fresh for Wednesday night. He's one of a couple of the regular starters on the bench tonight.
Yeah, Austin going up to Minnesota to play in the Open Cup semifinal. Philadelphia playing Nashville in the other semifinal.
Austin taking their time over this throw, looking for the right option. Now find it down the line for Rubio. Osaze on the front foot, takes it away, and now goes on a dribble up the line. Eventually runs into Pereira, but Kamungo's got him covered. And then Kamungo gives it away. Neither team can maintain possession there. Eventually Shackmore just puts it out for a throw.
It's always an interesting dynamic to see how teams and coaches choose lineups depending on Open Cup games and Leagues Cup, and when there's important out-of-league games also, especially when they're in a moment where they need wins in the league. So, yeah.
Well, when you're a player, does it ever in the back of your mind, or once the whistle goes, it's full focus on the 90 minutes?
No, of course. When you're in the game, you're so focused and so dialed in that anything outside, even fans' voices, you don't hear anything.
Long throw from Austin, header won by Uragide. Fight for the second ball. It's put back in towards Obrian here, top of the box on the near side. Quick 1-2. Obrian looking to keep this one in play, just about able to. Checks back for Bukhari. And then Patrickson blocks it out for an Austin throw.
Yeah, talking about personnel choices. Look, it's early, only 18th minute, but got to say that Eric Quill has gotten it right. He chose Logan Farrington over Anderson Julio, and Farrington's gotten active early, been involved, and I like that choice.
He'll line up the long throw again with Gallagher, this time from the near side in towards the near post. Fight for it. Nobody gets a clear first touch, and then the chipped ball in is handled by Jackson. Quickly rolls it out to Kamungo. Maybe a counter-attacking opportunity here. As Kamungo eats up the yards, bringing it into the attacking half. Down the line for Logan Farrington, waiting for support to arrive. Finds Kaike centrally. Kaike lines up the shot, and did that get a touch on the way through? No, just didn't hit it as he would have wanted. It's out for a goal kick.
I think we just saw a really good example of exactly what Eric Quill wants now. As Jacob Jackson rolls that ball out to Bernard Kamungo. I think if this was Nico Estevez last year, I think you guys would probably circulate the ball a little bit, get everybody in position. In this case, Bernard Kamungo up the left side, quickly finds Kaike. 6 seconds later, there's a shot. It wasn't on target, but that's the kind of direct play I think Eric Quill wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting this early on how open the game was in a situation like that. The ball's in Jacob's hand, and in 6 seconds we're getting a shot on top of the opponent's box. It's quite open for what I thought that the game would be, but in a way it's not bad for us.
Is that just a team that really desperately needs a win at home?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint why certain things happen in games, and I'm sure as the game progresses and develops that'll change, but for now that's kind of how it is.
Here's Shackmore, long, perfect first touch from Petter Musa, now turns and whips the ball in. Out of the way, out towards Kamungo again, now sets back for Logan Farrington, shot from the top of the box is over the bar and into the crowd.
Farrington made a little space for himself there and didn't get closed down. You'd like to see him just take a little bit off that and make sure he gets it on target.
6 shots, now 7 shots, 3 of them on target in the opening 20 minutes. We talked about Steve averaging 8 shots a game recently. They've nearly already hit that mark.
That's the volume in the final third that we were talking about. They needed that. It's working tonight so far.
So we're going to take the time, send the troops up the field here.
But just the confidence and the quick passing, you know, the decisiveness is allowing them to get into the final third right now.
Goal kick launched long. Rubio able to get ahead to it. Shaq Moore sends it back the other way. Heinzike didn't deal with it on the first bounce and then able to lift it back towards Rubio. Shaq Moore steps in front of Bukhari, gets a foot to it. Pereira loses out there to Kaike, who picked his pocket, and the referee again coming to the aid of the Austin midfielders there. That one may be a little more 50-50.
I mean, as long as Victor Rivas calls it tight on both sides, you know, I'm okay with it. You just got to be consistent.
Yeah, as a player, I think consistency is all you can ask for from a ref, and not to call things a certain way, and then 20 minutes later you're letting stuff go that you were calling earlier, and so it seems like he's being pretty consistent.
Yeah, I'm sure that gets frustrating when that happens.
Yeah.
There's a ball in the midfield from Heinzike. First touch from Rubio. Gallagher's going to take the space afforded to him here on the far side. Out wide for Bukhari. Early cross swung in off the head of Uragide, flicked along. And it'll be retrieved by Biro, keeping it in play. Now O'Brien, corner of the 18, rolls it inside. Owen Wolf goes down. Loses out there to Ibiaga, and just a battle for strength. Musa looking for a 1-2 to free up Patrickson. And he just overhit it. Otherwise, the Ecuadorian had a ton of space to lead the counterattack.
Patrickson had the, Ryan Patrickson had the shot a while ago, but I think he's having one of those games where he's just sort of having a little difficulty finding his place in this particular match. He hasn't had a big impact so far.
I was going to ask Paxton what you think of Patrickson's game. Last year, obviously, had some goal scoring, and this year, those goals have dried up, but he's provided plenty of assists and set piece service, things like that. As somebody who plays in those similar areas, I mean, what do you see from him? It's still a young player, of course.
Yeah, I think the first few games of the season he was struggling a little bit, and I think he would even admit to that. And over kind of summertime, he made a transition and has started playing really, really well. And it's, as you can see, it's hard for Eric to leave him out of the lineup just for what he brings with his energy, his passion, his tackling, and you love to play with a guy like that because you know he's going to battle for you, fight for you, and when he does that, it inspires everybody else, and that's all you can ask for.
Had a chance there up the right side, crowded out by 2 Austin players. Now the visitors will bring it into the attacking half. Switching ball is way off the mark. It was Dubrsarski with the miscue, playing it straight out of bounds.
Yeah, that possession you mentioned a minute ago, Ryan, that was Ramiro with a header that played the ball forward. I just love the way Ramiro's really wants to get the ball forward out from that wingback position right now, and I think that's really helping get Dallas going, get him out of the back.
Ramiro putting some extra air underneath this one, finds Farrington in the middle of the field with the throw. And now out to Shaq Moore, who will bring it forward. Bukhari in pursuit. Out wide for Bernie Kamungo. Matched up here with Gallagher. Set back for Kappas. Kappas looking for a lane to whip this one in towards Petter. Musa at the back post, gets the header on target. That one's right at Brad Stuvert.
Really nice there from Kappas. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, just loop that ball into Petter Musa, who was sort of checking into the back post, and Musa just couldn't quite get enough power on it to, maybe if he puts that one on the ground, it's a little bit more difficult for Brad Stuver.
Yeah, I like to see also Kappas and Kaike with 5 in the back. They have a little bit more freedom to get in higher positions up the field with the extra defender back there, and you're seeing that early on.
Here's Patrickson now, header won by Ibiaga, sets it up for him. Now Logan Farrington back to Patrickson inside the box, forced a little bit wide. We'll cut back now. Kaike, top of the 18, bending ball again, looking for Musa, attacking it. Gallagher goes down, and he's won a foul. Dallas turning these mistakes, loose passes quickly into shooting opportunities tonight, something that we know they want to do, but hasn't always been the case this season.
You're right, that pass into Patrickson just led him a little too far. Otherwise, I think he's got a good chance to get a shot on target from relatively close range, 8 to 10 yards there.
The 2026 season tickets are on sale now. That's the best way to experience FC Dallas soccer, from discounts on concessions to exclusive membership experiences you can't get anywhere else. An FC Dallas membership is a must-have for any Dallas sports fan. You can find the membership that's perfect for you at fcdallas.com/memberships.
I mentioned Dallas at 37% possession last time they played Austin. That was a season low. 47% right now, so that looks better.
KK going to ground there to make the interception in midfield. Breaks for Shaq Moore. And Shaq Moore goes down by 2 as the sensible thing. Turns, plays back to his goalkeeper. Jackson goes long. Second ball breaks for Kappas. Kaike quickly out to Kamungo. A lot of joy for him in the attacking areas in this first half so far. Down the line, Farrington makes the run, cuts back onto his right foot, sets it up for Bernie. Back to Logan Farrington, corner of the 18, looking for space to get turned. He'll turn back for Shaq Moore. Ball ahead for the run of Petter Musa. Set back now for Logan Farrington, top of the 18. Crowded out by Austin players, finds Kaike. Kappas keeps it moving. Petter Musa along the left side, bending ball towards the back post. Ramiro nods it back in front, looking for Logan Farrington, and Svatak sends it clear.
Both Dallas wingbacks, Ramiro on the right, Bernie Kamungo on the left, really getting forward well tonight.
Yeah, there's a moment there where you have 7 red shirts in the box, and that's exactly what Quo wants to see right now.
I say it all the time. Sometimes it's just math, isn't it? Just get more guys in the box.
Looks like Dallas are going to respond with a long throw of their own. Not something we've seen a ton this season. It's Patrickson who's going to try and lift this one in. Center backs have come forward. Everybody's back defending for Austin. Patrickson lifts it in. Attacking the near post is Uragide. Ramiro sliding to try and keep it alive. And then Patrickson goes flying in, and it's going to pick up a yellow card. It's Rubio who stayed down as the long throw didn't quite work out how they drew it up there. And sometimes that energy from Patrickson does boil over a little bit. He's now going to have to manage a yellow card the rest of the way.
I mean, I get it. I know why Paxton and everybody else wears those tiny little shin pads, but sometimes, man, those shin pads are there for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah, when I'm playing and the ball hits off my shin, I'm always like, why don't I wear smaller pads? And then I get a tackle like that to me in a game, and I'm like, why don't I have the biggest ones in the world? So you can't win.
Kevlar?
Yeah.
The big ones with the ankle pads. And
yeah,
everything.
You can't
old
win.
school, baby.
Looks like an impromptu water break here as both teams get some instruction and some fluids. As eventually Rubio's back to his feet. Stuver will take this as we play here in the 28th minute. Petter Musa in the opening 90 seconds got Dallas off to the perfect start. And we play here at 1-0 to the home side.
Boy, we mentioned a while ago, you said it, Dallas now with 8 shots, and you're right, they're averaging 8.6 in the last 5 games. Right now, Austin, 0 shots, no shots on goal.
Stuver sends it long. Rubio loses out there to Ibiaga. Now going the other way. Whistle goes. And Musa's down behind the play as well. Now helped to his feet by Heinz Eich. And will make his way into the box. Owen Wolf's going to take this. It's a free kick. Just about 15 yards into the Dallas half. One thing about football season, it does get a lot easier to judge distances out there.
I've had plenty of argues with referees trying to count distance when there's when there's yardage on the field.
We say the same thing up here, Paxton.
Oh,
like,
man.
It's an 8-yard wall. What are you doing, ref?
It drives me nuts.
Owen Wolf curling this ball into a dangerous area. Big save, Jake Jackson on the header from Biro. Biro is a threat on set pieces. And he's got 3 goals on the season, looking for number 4 there, but Jackson called into action for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I just said no shots on target for Austin. Well, that's number 1. Took him 30 minutes, though. Good moment from Jacob Jackson.
Biro just went right through the back of Patrickson and somehow got away without a foul. Now Rubio on the turn, out to Bukhari, and Rubio's clattered into by Urigide.
But that's what we're talking about a while ago. If Victor Rivas is going to call it tight in the midfield, he's got to call it both ways.
I also just don't think it's the game you want it to be called tight when you know there's going to be potentially a higher level of physicality, of emotion. I don't know. It seems like you're setting yourself up for failure as a referee. But he's the 2023 MLS Referee of the Year, so we'll give him some leniency here. Austin now with an attacking set piece, having just got the last one on target through Biro.
Yeah, and
from the other side now.
The key is the service from Owen. I think he's really dangerous on set pieces and delivers a really good ball, so we got to try to limit the amount of set pieces we give him in danger stopper areas of the field like this.
Looks like just a one-man wall. Most of the Austin players camped out towards the back post on the top of the 18. Hada Obrian standing near the 6-yard box in an offside position. Wolf bends this one towards the back post, and it'll be a goal kick after, again, I think it was Biro challenging for it, put it off target.
Yeah, the idea there was Obrian standing that offside position. If Biro was able to head that ball back across, nobody's marking Obrian because he's literally, 10 yards back behind the FC Dallas line of contention there.
If there's one player who knows about offside territory at Toyota Stadium.
It's so true.
It's just ironic that was the position they drew up for him there on the set play.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because maybe as a coaching staff, you're thinking, look, he's going to be offside anyway. Let's just draw up something that puts him there.
Jackson launches the goal kick long. Musa gets the first touch to it. Kaike will send it back towards Shaq Moore. Waiting for it to settle and finds Bernie Kamungo. Kappa's first time ball for the run of Patrickson in behind. It's bending towards the Ecuadorian, but just about arrives for Brad Stuver inside the 18.
Well, I love the idea from Kappa. Just tries to go around the corner there. The ball just didn't check up for him as Delgado tried to run onto it.
Bouncing ball in midfield. Kaike restores some calm, and Kamungo goes back to Shaq Moore. Goes back to Jackson, who confidently lifts it back out to former national teamer Shaq Moore. Header again right through the back of Patrickson. Same exact situation that went uncalled moments ago. This time Svatak does pick up the foul on the halfway line.
You mentioned Jacob Jackson, and although he's been here for a short time, I've gotten to see him a lot in training, and he is very good with his feet, very confident, and likes to play out of the back, and you saw that there.
Oh, Kappas looking to get things going with a diagonal, and if Ramiro's 5'6", he probably keeps that one in play. It's just over his head. Yeah, his play style for me very similar to a Michael Collodi. And we've already seen him come out and join the Dallas back three, use his distribution.
Right, I don't really see any tactical adjustment that's happened for Austin. I think over the last 10 minutes or so as Austin's pushed the game a little bit more to Dallas's end, I think it's just that it's just hard to sustain the energy that Dallas had over the first 15 or 20 minutes. Pressing so high and really doing so well at moving the ball quickly and getting those wing backs up forward and really pressing Austin back a little bit.
And Kaike's been caught in an unfortunate area here. Now back to his feet. Yeah, I think it seems to me the energy level difficult to maintain that start. Still maintaining a good hold on the game with the 1-0 lead. Svatak looking to go over the top for Bukhari. Too much on it. That one's going to bounce out for a throw.
Nice job though by Bernie, just putting a body on Bukhari over there, making sure nothing happens while that ball goes out.
Just about 10 minutes plus stoppage time to play here in the first half. Dallas only led at the halftime break this season 7 times, converting that into 13 points. mentioned earlier, the slow starts on the season. Coming into tonight, they'd conceded first in 19 out of 26 games. One towards putting that stat right with the opening goal tonight. Here's Bukhari, and along the right side, Shackmore well positioned. And Shackmore's clearance is deflected. Comes off Kamungo last.
Tell you what, 35 minutes in, Shackmore hasn't put a foot wrong back there in that new position for him.
It's going to be another chance for Austin to heave this one into the box from near the corner flag on the far side. Somebody needs to mark Brendan Hines-Ike. Center back is all alone right now. Now Ebiaga does. In towards the near post, header won by Uragide. Sends it out of the box. Shot from distance from Pereira. Is blocked by Musa. Now Patrickson is in all alone. It's a foot race to the other end. Everybody at full tilt to try and get back. Patrickson now cuts back looking for Farrington. And the pass is intercepted as he just about ran out of gas there at the crucial moment. And that was nearly a very opportunistic moment. We saw that exact situation for Patrickson and Nico Esteves' last game in charge at Toyota Stadium when he scored on an open net, breaking from a counterattack just like that, but this time it was a little too much grass for him to run into, and Austin got back in time.
Are we a little surprised that Patrickson did take one big touch forward and go chase the ball there?
Yeah, I think in hindsight he probably would have wanted to keep going, but when you sprint 85 yards and oxygen's not going to your brain, it's sometimes difficult to make the right decision in those moments.
Fair enough.
So Warsarski gets it out to Bukhari.
I promise you the game looks a lot easier up here.
I'm sure you're right.
You would know. You would know better than any of us. Biro. He's got the one shot on the night for Austin. Header on target. Owen Wolf leaves that one short, and Ramiro pokes it out. Last touch was off the Austin midfielder, and Dallas can go quickly here. Austin slow to react. Throwing into the feet of Farrington. Shoving the back from Pereira. He stays on his feet. And then Pereira biting in for a second time. And the yellow card is quickly out of the pocket for Danny Pereira. And an attacking set piece is coming wide on the right side for Dallas.
I mean, that is a Logan Farrington special, isn't it? Just understands where Pereira is. Understands if he cuts in front of him, he's going to have to foul him. And Logan knows how to, if that guy can't do anything else, he knows how to draw a foul, doesn't he?
Yeah, Logan definitely knows how to use his body, and not only does he know how to use his body, but he's very, very strong. So he uses it in the right way, and sometimes might go down easier, but when you draw contact and you know how to manipulate situations, you can gain advantages like this. And a set piece in this area is like exactly what we want in this moment, especially when he was kind of all alone up there and not many options, not many places to go, and now look where we are. So
it's going to be Patrickson from wide on the right. Everybody back defending for Austin. Set their line 10 yards from goal. Some hand fighting there between Kappas and Hines-Ike. Patrickson's going to reset the ball as he's been made to wait here. Delgado whips it into the danger area. An Austin player goes down. Referee didn't blow for a foul. It's cleared away on the initial ball. Sent back in. Farrington wins the header. And then Austin puts it behind for a corner. And then the whistle goes for a foul in the aftermath against Uragide. And Stuver is beside himself here.
Don't see too many keeper yellow cards, but Stuver just got himself one.
You don't see Brad Stuver incensed like that very often.
No, not at all. Brad's typically not emotionally shown like that. A little surprising, and it didn't seem malicious at all. Ozaze just kind of backed in, and he came from the backside and jumped over him. It didn't, yeah.
I mean, he puts his arm out, but I don't think it was a
For
big
me,
shove.
Hines-Ike made a meal out of it. I mean, he knew what he was doing there, throwing himself in the way to try and put it behind for a corner. I mean, I think he's lucky to get a free kick. 2 quick yellow cards picked up by Austin in these last couple minutes.
It's a rivalry match. You got to expect a little bit of that.
Started to feel that way of late. Last year, Driussi sent off after Musa converted the penalty, and fireworks after the ball hit the net.
Hey, what about the delivery there by Delgado? A lot happened afterwards, but that ball right where you want it just happened to be that wasn't a Dallas player there. I mean, he curled that right into the 6 with pace.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. I think his service in recent weeks has been really, really good. And watching him yesterday hit set pieces, it's exactly what we're seeing tonight.
Yeah.
Stuver's long ball, header won by Ibiaga. Kamungo heavy touch, turns it over. They'll go back to Stuver. Who's now hearing it. Usually he hears the stews at home. Now he's hearing the boos at Toyota Stadium. Pereira back to Stuver, and you can probably hear it. Stuver dallying on the ball here with Musa in the area. Hits it out to Svatak. And Gallagher goes direct. Ibiaga does really well to deal with that with Obrian for company. Biru picks up the second ball. Is putting it in behind for Obrian once again to chase. Urguide coming all the way across, gets his body in the way. And
really
shields
well
that one over the line for a goal kick.
I mean, how many times have we seen Osaze Urguide do that this year? Just, it looks like, a forward has a little bit of the angle. He's got it stretched, and Urguide just gets the angle and just goes over there and absolutely eats it up.
And now Obrian's having some words. Trying to see if anyone over there even played with Hot Air when he was here in Dallas. Maybe Ibiaga. I think they crossed by 1 year. I don't believe Obrian picked up a yellow card, but he's getting a long talking to from Victor Rivas.
What is Osaze Urguide doing out there that's making him so mad? Besides just being the beast that he is along the back line.
I'll tell you, nothing's more frustrating than getting ragdolled. And he does that once or twice a game, as you said.
I can tell you from firsthand experience, he is a very strong player on the field.
And Jackson took the goal kick, but too soon for the referee's liking, so he's going to have to do it again. And he's in no hurry to do so.
Yeah, you're getting to the point in the half where you can tell the players are very happy with the performance that they've had and the fast start. And now it's almost like we need to get in half at least a goal up. If we can snag another one, that'd be great. But don't minimize what we've done so far by giving up something silly.
Ball flicked on by Musa. Patrickson will pursue it. Back to Stuver now. Lifted out to Biro, wins the header. Kaike wins the second header, and then thought he was fouled by Wolf. We play on. Kappas comes across and erases the chance. Quickly finds the feet of Farrington down the line. First time ball in behind for Petter Musa. He's got Patrickson waiting in the middle. Cut back ball for Patrickson. Low shot saved by Stuver. And the offside flag went up belatedly, I think, against Farrington.
It's a well-run counter. Farrington to Musa to Delgado. Delgado not quite getting enough purchase on the shot. As you said, I think it would have been outside, but still really good, confident thrust with a lot of initiative there for Dallas.
Now Austin go the other way out to Bakari. Waits for support, finds Pereira centrally. Out to Rubio. Left center channel, wide for Obrian. Ramiro defending. Back to Rubio, top of the D, gets the shot away. It's deflected off Kappas and behind for a corner.
First corner kick tonight for either team. A little odd being in the 45th minute.
Yeah, a lot of wide free kicks, but first time it comes from the corner flag. In the final minute of the 45, Austin looking for an equalizer. Wolf has Bukhari as a short option. Everybody else is inside the 6-yard box.
It's a lot for Jackson to deal with.
It is whipped right in to the 6-yard box. Header won by Ibiaga, sent clear.
Paxton, you get used as a blocker when you're out there. Do you like that role on those corner kicks?
I actually do. I take pride in that role, and our goalkeeper coach is also in charge of our set pieces, Drew Keyshawn, and we have a great relationship when it comes to set pieces, and he knows I can trust. He knows he can trust me in those moments to pick up those big guys, and you're not necessarily thinking about winning the ball. It's just don't let your guy win the ball.
Yeah, actually, I've had a talk with Drew about that. He told me a long time ago, Paxton's not the biggest guy, but he said just that. But I know he's going to get in there and obstruct the run and just make it hard on the guy, which is exactly what we want.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just creating chaos and trying to get your opponent to focus on you and less on the corner that's coming in. And as soon as he takes his eye off the ball and is trying to focus more on you than the ball coming in, then you've won your battle. So.
Paxton, before we send you back to go enjoy the game, I want to get to something that you told us at training yesterday, talking about Petr Musa, who opened the scoring for Dallas tonight in the second minute. He said he just hits the ball differently. It has a different sound. What does that mean when you're out there on the training ground?
Yeah, just Petar's an incredible player, and obviously you see the things he does in front of goal and the finishing he does. But when he hits a ball, and you can it just sounds a little different. For those that know, when you catch a ball clean, it's a beautiful sound, and he's one of the best in the game. That when you hear a ball on the training field sound like that, it's most of the time Petar.
And he's made Austin pay once again tonight. Third goal to go with 3 assists, and now 5 games against Austin. He picked up the assist in Austin a month ago before he had to come off at halftime, or his record might have been even better against the Central Texas rival. Halfway through, 3 minutes added on here. Owen Wolf brings it up the left side, finds O'Brien. Low cross swung in. Shaq Moore sends it straight up in the air, and the offside flag goes up against Jader O'Brien.
Okay, Pax, here's one for you. There used to be a player named, this is well before you, Simo Valakari. Terrific player, but he was a central midfielder, couldn't shoot any better than me, right? Who have you known who's a great player, technical pass, medium, high, over ranges, but he can't shoot? You know anybody like that?
Me, I guess. I don't have that many goals in my career. I tell you what, I wish I had more.
Kansas City,
I score
20
a lot
yards
on the training field, but for some reason I can't get the ball in the back of the net in games.
Kansas City, 22 yards, right? That was you, man.
Yeah, we're booking a goal in the final weeks of the season for you, I think.
That's the goal. If I can come back and score a screamer, then I'll point up here to you guys.
Aren't I right about that? You had about 22 yards against Kansas City a couple of years ago, yeah?
My weak foot, too.
Is that right? Yeah. That was right-footed?
We're playing in the final minute of stoppage time here. And Paxton, we thank you so much for joining us here on the call. What do you make of the roll up here in the booth for your first time?
It's not easy. I tell you guys what, I give a lot of credit to you and Steve for the job you guys do, because it's not as easy as people think to come up here and just talk the whole time and give your insights. And I'd much rather be on the field, I'll put it that way.
Well, we hope to see you down there. But you've absolutely smashed it in Dallas, smashing it in the first half. Petr Musa giving Dallas the lead heading into the halftime break. Paxton, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back for the halftime show on the other side of this break. Listen to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, Think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Petar Musa and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Welcome back. It's FC Dallas 1, Austin FC 0 after 45 minutes. We'll get into all the action on the halftime show, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. It's also brought to you by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Garrett Melcer, and I'll soon be joined by the broadcast team for tonight, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. Well, FC Dallas got off to a flying start in the first half. Leading scorer Petar Musa did it once again and put the home side in front after just 91 seconds thanks to a phenomenal back heel assist from Logan Farrington. And I'm actually told that that was the 6th fastest goal in club history. And here's how it sounded, courtesy of tonight's commentary team.
20 yards from goal, cutting back to his right foot, stabs it towards Farrington. Farrington back heel, Petar Musa all alone, Petar Musa off the mark, here we go!
And that was the only goal of the first half, so let's get you to all the important halftime stats presented by UMB Bank. The possession battle was won by Austin FC with 56%, but it was a different story in terms of shots. 9 for the home side with 5 on target and just 4 for the away team with just 1 on target. There were no corner kicks for Dallas and just 1 for Austin FC. In terms of saves, just the 1 for Jacob Jackson, so he'll need 11 more in the second half if he wants to match the outing he had on his FC Dallas debut last week. And for Austin, it was just 4 saves for Brad Stuver. In terms of the fouls, there was, let's see here, 10 for FC Dallas and just 4 for Austin FC. And most of those were at the end of the second half. It got a little tasty towards the end there. And in terms of yellow cards, there were 2 apiece. Now, let's get the thoughts of the broadcast crew, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. Steve, let's talk about the first goal, which, like I said, was the 6th fastest in club history. And for me, it's all about the backheel assist from Logan Farrington. His creativity in and around the box just adds a whole new dimension for Dallas.
It does, but I'll tell you what, Petar Musa does a lot of work on that, even before the finish. You know, winning the ball, keeping the ball. He finds Logan Farrington. Logan Farrington takes 1 touch to take it outside the penalty area, so everything starts flowing that way. And then what does he do? Cheeky little back heel right into Petar Musa's path. Guillermo Viro was sort of keeping Musa onside. He was out of the play, but keeping him onside. So Musa just has to settle the ball, knock it by Brad Stuver, 15th goal of the year.
It's one of those assists that you don't really even see the passing lane from up here in the booth. So the fact that Farrington saw it while he was facing the other direction on the field, absolutely incredible.
And Ryan calls me out. He's right. I said I didn't see that coming, but he's right. Farrington had something similar earlier this year against San Jose. So my bad, Farrington. You got that.
He often does the unorthodox when he's in the box, and that's something that is just so special for last year's first-round draft pick. On to Musa, his 15th of the season, 7th goal in his last 7 games. And Steve, I think you said it. He's just 3 short of FC Dallas's single-season record held by 3 players. Do you think he can break it?
I said he could break it tonight when he scored after 90 seconds. Maybe I was getting a little overexcited, but in the form that he's in, I mean, it's a goal or an assist every week, and you know, some of the teams, you got to face Galaxy twice, Colorado at home. These aren't the top of the West type of matchups. Dallas only has one of those left with Vancouver away on decision day. I think he's shown that he can score against anybody, but he particularly loves these games against teams in and around the playoff line, whether it's Austin, whether it's Houston, Colorado. Over the years, he's done well against these teams. I see no reason why, if he stays healthy and on the field, he's not going to break the record.
And I believe that goal also set a record for Musa, becoming the player with the most goals in his first 2 seasons for FC Dallas with 31.
The most goals over 2 seasons for any player, not just the first 2 seasons.
Wow.
Kreis, I think, held the record at 30 before that, so now 31 for Musa.
Just speaks to what kind of striker he is. Now, I want to talk about something that Paxton Pomykal mentioned in the first half, and that's playing the game in the opposition's half. I mean, that's something that dominant teams do when they're playing very well. And I think, you know, looking from that half without the stats in front of me, that felt like the most Dallas played in the opposition's half this season. Steve, is that are you feeling the same thing there?
No, I certainly am. I thought the 20 minutes in particular, one of the best, probably the best 20-minute stretch I've seen Dallas play this year. I mean, they were pressing high, they were active. It was always going to be difficult to maintain that kind of energy, but they opened the game with that kind of energy, and they were rewarded with the goal. And we can talk about different reasons, but one of the things that's happening is, especially in the first 20-25 minutes, Bernie Kamungo and Ramiro on their from the wingback positions really getting up the field aggressively, and that helps the press, that helps push the full team up the back line. Ibiaga, Osaze, and Shaq very aggressive and pushing that high line up very quickly. So they were really keeping Austin pinned in, and just a terrific opening for the FC Dallas.
And I think a stat that speaks to that was the fact that Austin's first shot of the game was in the 30th minute, and it was from a pretty deep set piece. So a really well-managed game from FC Dallas, especially for the first 30 minutes. Ryan, I want to ask you about Christian Kappus. We talked about him on the pregame show. He's playing really well recently, and I think he's added a new dimension in this game because we saw him kind of on the left wing, basically on the edge of the box, swinging in crosses. What did you make of his performance, and do you think he's kind of rising to that challenge that Eric Quill gave him in terms of being more aggressive on the attacking end?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I saw it the same way. I think outside of Paxton Pomykal, who unfortunately was in the booth with us tonight and not on the field, he's Dallas's most complete midfielder in terms of going both ways. Defensively, he's well positioned, always plays within the structure, reads the game well. But then going forward, we know he has the quality to put the ball into the box. He picked up his first assist last week on the road in St. Louis, and he had a couple of opportunities to maybe grab another assist tonight. I've seen a lot from him tonight in terms of being all over the field, left wing, right wing, middle of the field, but still getting back to his position because you think about someone like Patrickson Delgado, they play a little bit of a different role, but sometimes Patrickson goes freelancing a little bit too much, and then Dallas is caught a man short defensively against the ball. That's not been an issue so far for Kappus. He knows when to pick his moments and get into the attacking areas. He can be effective there, but ultimately he's doing well to stay home in the right moments as well.
26 touches for Kappus, 19 or 22 on his passes, 5 passes into the final third. He's having a great game.
He's just steady Eddie in there, keeping things turning over. And Steve, you mentioned on the broadcast there around the 35th minute, Shaq Moore hadn't put a foot wrong, and he's playing out of position at that left center back. And I think the moment that brought up that point that you brought up was the fact that he was defending Osman Bakari, who had gotten past the left back there. And what did you make of his overall performance in covering that side for Bernie Kamungo?
I thought he was absolutely terrific. His passing was solid. He was also just like Kappus, 19 or 22, 4 of 7 on his long balls. But you're right, it was the defensive work that really stood out for me. I think the angles might have been a little difficult, but they weren't. It looked like he had everything covered. Bakari is a fast guy, and you just got to get on him early. You can't let him get the ball and then face you up because he can't get by you. Shaq never let him get into that position. There was one time that he almost got on the wrong side of him because Bakari was being very physical. He held his ground pretty well. He was strong in that challenge. Eventually, Bakari got called for the foul, so I think Shaq Moore having a terrific game as well.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is as well as Shaq and Bernie and even on the other side Ramiro has done in this first half, I still feel like there's a little bit of concern for me in the wide areas. That's where Austin has the advantage, particularly if they bring on Zuni, if they shift Wolf back wide on the left. That's one where I really want to see Dallas grab a second goal because I think there's still a moment on a counterattack for one of those guys to get in behind.
We know this is FC Dallas's last in-state rivalry game of the regular season, and you maybe wouldn't have really known it. It wasn't a vanilla game for the first 30 minutes, but it was competitive, but not dirty in any way. But the last 5 or 10, it definitely got a little chippy out there. We saw Austin FC goalkeeper Brad Stewart being brandished a yellow card for going after some Dallas players there. Guys, how important is it for Dallas to not get caught up in that? Because they're playing really well right now. They have the lead. The last thing they need is a silly we unfortunately saw last week in St. Louis.
I'll say true. However, in the last 2 seasons, Austin's come here. They've got a man sent off. And if you can sort of continue to get under the skin of the man advantage for yourself. So I think Osaze has done a great job all year long of being that irritating presence, but still keeping his cool. He hasn't been sent off this season. I don't think he's even been close to being sent off this season. He knows where the line is for his personal, behavior, but he knows how to get under the skin of the other guy. I'd like to see Dallas continue to do a little bit of that. We always like to see, it's sort of the saying, the cliche of, oh, we hate to see that when they start fighting or going at each other. We love to see it. It's a derby game. I'd love to see how much it means to the players, and they've shown it to us in the first half. Of course, keeping 11 guys on the field is paramount, but I don't mind to see the passion from the two sides.
Looking at the second half, Steve, Dallas is playing well. They've got the lead, but is there anything that you're seeing that Eric Quill might consider changing, whether that's personnel or just tactics?
I think everything's going to plan. I think Eric Quill has come in with a really good tactical plan. I think he caught Austin a little by surprise by pressing so high. I think he's made the right personnel choices. Logan Farrington coming in for Anderson Julio, I think has really worked out. Logan's had 27 touches. He's got 3 shots. He's got 4 touches inside the box. So I think everything's going to plan. Now, I would like to see him maybe go to the bench a little bit earlier than usual, simply because I want to see that high energy. They've had such good energy, such good initiative going forward. And in order to maintain that, he might have to go to the bench a little bit earlier than he usually does. Who to bring in, that's a different conversation. But hopefully they can keep that high energy, and I think you do need some fresh legs to do that at some point.
Yeah, and you mentioned in the pregame show, Steve, that, with eyes on that Wednesday Open Cup game, if Dallas gets a 2-goal, a 3-goal lead, maybe those final 20 minutes become a whole lot easier. So I think I'd like to see Dallas come out aggressive like they were in the first half. If they get that second goal, I'm not going to say Austin's going to completely down tools and give up on the game, but maybe we don't see Ozuni at all. Maybe Bukhari comes out of the game with eyes on that Wednesday matchup, But on the other side, Nico Estevez has seen the same 45 minutes that we've seen. He's going to be making adjustments, and I think Eric Quill and the coaching staff need to be ready for when those adjustments come on the Austin side as well.
Well, we'll see how that all shakes out over the second 45. Coming up soon, you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar. At the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Hi everyone, it's Paxton Pomykal, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Well, thanks, Paxton. No longer with us for the second half, but what an effect that he had. Dallas getting off to a great start in the first 45 minutes, first 90 seconds. Peter Musa getting the team off the mark. They lead 1-0 as they're back out for the second half of action here at Toyota Stadium tonight. Dallas the first out of the tunnel and quickly into formation. Austin now breaking their huddle. Looks like no personnel changes on either side to come out for the second 45 minutes. For Dallas, no need to make changes. One of their best halves, I think, all told, of the entire season in the first 45 minutes. Now looking to keep that going with a playoff spot. Still 4 points away coming into tonight.
Now remember, they got a game in hand on that on San Jose that's in that last playoff spot right now. If they were to get the points here, they'd be only 1 point behind them.
San Jose trailing 3-1 at halftime tonight. That's a good result for Dallas fans. If it holds, LAFC in control of that one. We're back underway. Second half action here at Toyota Stadium. Austin now moving from left to right. Dallas from right to left. Miscue there from Dubrsarski. Not the first time. He's just played it straight out of play tonight. It'll be a Dallas throw on the halfway line. Ramiro takes the throw in towards Musa, nods it down to himself. Now pass out into the path of Logan Farrington, driving from right to left towards the top of the 18. Now cuts back, looking for a lane to shoot. and instead goes for the back heel, this time towards Kappas, and got it wrong. He's sprinting back to help out defensively as Austin tries to start a counter. And he does well just to slow down Rubio.
Yeah, Adair O'Brien came in and put a little hand on Logan Farrington's shoulder there and threw him off just enough.
O'Brien. Back to Dubrsarski. Switch it over here through Svatok, the Ukrainian center back. Zyke looking to go over the top. Ramiro and Uragide contesting for it. Ball breaks out wide left for Bureau. Into the pocket, Owen Wolf, where he can be dangerous. Looking to get to the byline. Uragide does well, gets his body in the way. And tried to shield it for a goal kick. It didn't quite have enough on it, so he plays it out for a throw.
I mean, once Uragide gets the angle, gets his body between you and the ball, that's just it. It's game over. As Owen Wolf just found out.
Not the first one to find out tonight. He's going to have to defend here against the long throw for Austin. Got numbers forward to attack this. Gallagher taking the long throw from both sides.
Svatok is over there putting his hand up in Ibiaga's face.
O'Brien just made a 10-yard run.
And then fell.
I think he knew exactly what he was doing. It just went towards Uragide and then just threw himself on the ground. I was Bukhari, sorry. And Ribas has been, he's had a lot to delegate tonight.
Well, he said, I've seen what you're doing here. It's exactly what I just said. Svatok, you can put your hand on a body and sort of try to clear a little room, but he was putting it up in Ibiaga's face there.
Those two back hand fighting as we wait for this long throw to come in. In towards the near post, flicks off a couple different players. And Ramiro is going to send it out off the tarps on the far side. Out for another throw, another chance at it. This time they go short, they go quick. Bukhari, low cross whipped in, flicked on in the near post. Now O'Brien from the top of the box. Shot is right at Jackson. And Jackson sees a counter opportunity here, punting it long, looking for Patrickson, brings it down on the halfway line, 3v3 if they go quickly. In behind here for Bernie Kamungo, all alone. Bernie Kamungo brings it down, rolls it past Stuver, and it's the perfect start once again in the second half. There's the energy required. Jackson picks up a second assist there as he finds Patrickson, who plays it across. Bernie Kamungo makes no mistake with the finish. 2-0 Dallas.
You love to see it for Bernie Kamungo. We mentioned that he's doing a great job of really getting forward tonight from that wing-back position. Hey, credit Jacob Jackson, though. As he gets the ball in the back, FC Dallas goalkeeper, he recognizes the opportunity, plays a big ball on the punt, on that sidewinder punt, into Patrickson Delgado. Delgado recognizes the moment, too. Plays the ball early into the path for Bernie Kamungo. Checking to see real quick, make sure he was onside, but Bernie brings the ball down and then just takes that little moment to compose himself. Rolls about the side of his foot right inside that left post, 2-0.
And there's a goal that Petr Musa wasn't involved in. That hasn't happened very often recently. How about Jacob Jackson? 12 saves last week, assist tonight. What a start to life in Dallas. I mean, Collodi was playing so well, we were starting to wonder, what is the goalkeeper depth that we have on our hands here? And now we've got Jacob Jackson, the third goalkeeper, really putting on a show. And great work as well from Kamungo, and that is another assist on 4 on the season now for Patrickson.
Bernie Kamungo held without a goal last year, just 3 assists. His only contributions.
Just the low ball into the feet of Petr Musa. Heavy first touch there from Musa. Couldn't turn it into a shot.
Ryan, I've talked about it several times tonight, but Dallas's urgency in getting the ball forward quickly and playing quickly with confidence forward. You know, it keeps paying off for FCD because, again, Jacobson immediately forward. Delgado didn't dwell on the ball, played the ball immediately over to Bernie Kamungo. Kamungo just takes one touch and gets the shot away. So, you know, just that confidence to go forward with the ball that we haven't always seen from Dallas over the last couple of years, it's really paying off.
Rubio just runs into Urquide again, and now Shaq Moore finds the ball into the path of Musa. Musa finds Farrington. Farrington scrapping for the ball. Patrickson turns away from pressure. Wide here with Bernie Kamungo. Positive first touch. Right-footed shot. Looking to test Stuver at the near post, but that one flashes over the bar.
I'll talk about a confident touch. I mean, the ball gets sprayed out toward Bernie Kamungo, and he takes a really good positive touch that pushes the ball right into a good space for him. Just needs to get that shot on target, but really good setup touch there from Bernie Kamungo.
Kappas putting pressure on Dubrsarski higher up the field. Nearly caught him out. Stuver still hearing it from the Dallas crowd. Urquide going in hard for the challenge. Does enough to get it away from Rubio. The Austin maintained possession. Gallagher on this near side into Pereira. Shaq Moore into the back of Danny Pereira, commits the foul.
But here's the scenario you talked about, Ryan. You know, if Dallas can get one more, I think Nico Estevez is just going to say, they're not going to give up, obviously, but he's just going to say, let's get some of the frontline guys out of here. Let's save some legs for Minnesota on Wednesday.
Perfect start to both halves for Dallas, scoring inside 5 minutes. Now Austin looking for a response. Pereira in midfield. Dubrsarski finds Wolf. Combination back to Wolf. Rubio sets it back for Gallagher. Moving forward from right back. Rubio looking to bend the ball in behind. It deflects towards Urquide, who brings it under his control. Finds Kaique. Kaique caught on it, though. And now a chance for O'Brien. Shot from distance. Never really worried Jacob Jackson. That one flies over the bar.
Yeah, Kaique understood how to position his body for the first man. Didn't anticipate the second man coming over quickly. Lost the ball there. And look, I'm just going to say it. They got lucky. It was Javier O'Brien taking that shot.
Shaq Moore going to bend this one up towards Bernie Kamungo, who's the furthest player forward here, is on a run all on his own. Now cuts it across for Ramiro on the opposite side. Runners at the back post for Ramiro. Is going to bend this ball towards the back post over the head of Kamungo. Second ball picked up by Pereira.
Peter Musa was unmarked at the back post. He was just a little too far away from Ramiro there for Ramiro to get it to him.
Dubrsarski seen some more of the ball in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. Finds Rubio, who goes back to Gallagher. Along the left side, Bureau cutback ball. O'Brien with the dummy, nobody there for it. And then a late tackle against Kappas, not punished. Possession turns back over the Austin way. In center circle, Svatak, Pereira to Wolf, who's playing in the middle triangle today for Nico Estevez, now driving forward to the Dallas back line. Turning this way and that, and it turns back. Dubrsarski spreads it wide for Bukhari. Bukhari for Dubrsarski, first season in Austin for the young Argentine midfielder. He signed from Instituto, which wasn't a club I was super familiar with, and I looked back through the years. They're the club that produced Paulo Dybala, and now he's their second record sale behind the illustrious career of Pablo Dybala. Some afters between Heinz Ike and Farrington. I'm going to bring play to a halt here. Just something the referee didn't like. Doesn't look like a card's coming for anybody.
I don't really mind the way Victor Rivas has managed the game. Little inconsistent on those calls in the midfield at a couple of moments in the first half, but otherwise I think he's And he's a good referee. I think he's kept his eye on things, pulled out the cards when he needed to, and a couple of times he's just given guys, what they call a good old-fashioned fashion talking to.
Pereira rolls into midfield for Wolf. Wolf out wide left for Biro. Biro low cross in, defended at the near post over the bar by Ibiaga. And you get the feeling that Dallas taking their foot off the gas a little bit since the second goal. Possession back the way of Austin since Bernie hit the net.
But you can kind of anticipate it a little bit because started the game with such energy, started the second half with such energy. Look, man, it's still in the 90s out there as they kick this game off. It's tough to maintain that through the whole match.
Corner kick for Austin from the far side. Two arms raised for Wolf. And referee twice makes Austin wait as Kappas was barreled over there by Heinz Eich. Now Wolf will get the opportunity to whip this in. Oh, maybe not.
Heinz Eich and Kappas still going at it.
And as long as Dallas holds a 2-0 lead, you don't mind it. Well, usually the referee makes the two players separate and find a different mark, but they're going to resume pleasantries here inside the 6-yard box. Whipped in towards the near post, header won by Ramiro. The referee is just called for the ball.
I was watching something go on behind the play. I can only assume there that the ball deflected off of Victor Rivas.
Well, he drops at the feet of Ibiaga, and now Dallas have a chance maybe to turn it into something. Ramiro eating up the turf on the other side with the dribble. Now has targets to aim at. Low cross in towards Kaique, and Pereira read it well. Stepped in the way to intercept. And then Ramiro commits the foul. Opportunity wasted there.
I would have liked to have seen Ramiro play the ball a little bit earlier. He had Logan Farrington looking to make a run. I think he was just surprised by how much green space he had in front of him.
Well, Dallas is back home next week for Hispanic Heritage Night as the Colorado Rapids come to town. Tickets are going fast. You can visit fcdallas.com for more. And I can confirm they will be wearing the Legacy kit, the burn kit, I believe for the final time this season. Not only that, but huge playoff implications in that one. Colorado, one of the teams they are chasing in the standings. Pereira goes down there. Foul whistled against Kappas in the Austin half. It's kind of nice when the Dallas fans pick out somebody to boo on their every touch. And then the listeners know where the ball's at without me having to explain anything. They're still booing Stuver after a first half altercation with Urugide.
Which is funny because, in Austin, you hear almost the same sound, except they're saying Stuver.
Kappas diagonal, switching the play out to Ramiro. And Ramiro wins a foul. So a free kick here from 20 yards into the Austin half. Patrickson has come across to take. 3 subs coming for Austin. At the next opportunity, you don't usually see teams make substitutions when they're defending a set play. And looks like that will hold true here. Here's Delgado. 2 arms raised for him. Whipping this one in with some pace in towards Ibiaga. Header won by Austin. Breaks for Kamungo inside the box. Turns and finds Kaique. Left-footed bending ball towards the back post is too close to Stuver. He looks to replicate what Jackson did. 15 minutes ago and go long towards Wolf, but Dallas reads it well. Those 3 Austin subs still waiting. Patrickson back to Ramiro on the far side. Back to Ibiaga. Aragide. Diagonal, just mishit that one, looking for Kamungo, and Gallagher will get it back to Stuvert. Bouncing ball. Well, too simple for the goalkeeper, but he plays out well. Diagonal out to Obrian, just about able to control it with a couple of touches, and then Ramiro goes flying in for the tackle. Whistle for the foul.
Ramiro extending a hand, trying to pick up Javier Obrian. Obrian having none of that.
And substitutions now entering the match for Austin. Bukhari replaced by Uzuni. 2 designated players swap places. Robert Taylor in the match for Biro. And Savovic is in for Dubrsarski. That's more like for like.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any kind of shape change here.
It wasn't Biro that was removed, I believe. It was Diego Rubio, which would be more like for like.
Yeah, Rubio had a tough time tonight. No real impact on the game. Only impacts he felt were Osazi Urgide.
Gallagher wide on the right for Austin. Set back for Pereira. Pereira whips it in low across the ground. Now a shot from distance is well held by Jackson. That was Biro. Second shot on target for the left back.
Yeah, Dallas needs to step out a little bit quicker there on Biro. He got the ball about 25 yards out. Nobody really contesting him. He's able to get a lot on it. Sort of a grass cutter. Coming in pretty hot on Jacob Jackson back there, but he was able to gobble that one up.
Jackson looking to go long. That one sails on him a little bit, straight out of play. Austin continue to hold a majority of possession since that second goal went in. Dallas won't mind,
yeah,
especially here in the defensive half.
Excuse me there, Ryan. Yeah, 65th minute, and 6 fresh legs there on for Austin. This is where I'd like to see Eric Quill maybe go to his bench and sort of match that energy, that little burst of energy that the subs can provide.
Obrian going for the dummy second time. It hasn't worked out for him. Kamungo stands his ground. Takes the throw in into Kaike. Azuni is in the match after withdrawing from the Albania squad. He went all the way across the world and then picked up some calf tightness and didn't play. Long ball towards Musa, who was offside. 5 goals and 3 assists for reportedly $12 million from Mirto Azuni. Acquired in the winter.
5 goals, 3 assists. It's, I think, fair to say they would have liked to have seen a little bit more impact from him.
There's a ball through the lines to Azuni. And Uragide just easily marshalling the situation, comes away with the ball. Kapis, Kamungo, back to Shaq Moore. Swing it over to Ibiaga. Uragide stayed forward, and he's waiting for it in the pocket. Ibiaga unable to find him. Now there's no Uragide to defend. It's Azuni. Pokes it out towards Obrian. Shot from distance is deflected on the way through. It's behind for a corner. And if there was one moment of Uragide that we maybe don't want to encourage, that was sort of indulgent from him, trying to stay forward in an attacking position. In this situation, the defensive side's a little more important.
We've seen him do it all year. He likes to get forward a little bit when he can. I think if you're Ibiaga there, you just got to play a little bit safer. If you're not absolutely certain that you can, make the pass, and you just got to hit it longer so that you got plenty of guys back behind the ball.
Wolf will take the corner from the near side. Goes short to Pereira. All the way out to Gallagher, the lone man back for Austin. He totally mishit that cross right to Patrickson and nods it away. Wide on the far side. Heinz Eich will go back. Well, Eric Quill told us at training yesterday he hoped to start on the front foot, get a little bit more attacking push out of this back three with Shaq Moore in there amongst the center backs, and then maybe bring in someone like Wallace Abubakar and batten down the hatches and see out the game. The first part of that script has gone down well. He's yet to make a change. Here's Kappas looking to add goal number 3, switching the play to Kamungo. A lot of space for Bernie Kamungo to bring this forward on the near side. Wide left for Logan Farrington. Assist in the opening goal in the first half.
Kappas stepped in nicely to intercept that ball to get this attack started. And then, as you said, his switching balls have really added something to FC Dallas tonight.
Farrington gets turned, and they're going to give Farrington space here to maybe take it on himself. 1-2 with Musa, went for the flick back towards Logan. And then Musa commits a foul in the aftermath. And it picks up a yellow card there. That's an unfortunate one. He's one of the players that's 2 yellow cards away from a suspension.
And with him chasing that record, you'd really hate to see him have to sit out a match. Cooper, Jason Christ, Jesus Ferreira, all sharing the single season goal record for FC Dallas with 18, and Musa now sitting on 15.
There's a loose back pass. Farrington
gives the ball to Logan Farrington. He's got 4 white shirts in front of him. Not a lot of support. Ramiro making his way up the right side on the overlap, but Farrington managed to make something of it anyway, getting off a pretty dangerous shot against all those Austin defenders.
Jackson lifts it out to Bernie Kamungo. Kappas in midfield. Back to Shaq Moore. Down the line again. Kamungo first time into Kappas. Positive first touch. Brings it past the defender there. And Sabovic, I believe, straight into the game, picks up a yellow card. The concern, though, is that Kappas went down awkwardly under the challenge, and he stayed down here on the halfway line. And the physios will come on, which means if he's not replaced, he'd have to sit out for 2 minutes, and that's assuming the best here.
Well, I don't think so, because there was a foul and a yellow card.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of awkward because after the foul, I think the 2 players just sort of, tumbled into each other, and I think something happened afterwards. Maybe just got a little knee on knee after the foul. And that's always painful.
Well, Toyota Stadium renovations are underway. You can check out the new construction cam to see the latest updates in real time. Learn more about this ambitious project to give Toyota Stadium a brand new roof to cover every seat in the house, gorgeous new club spaces, and much more. To learn more and check out that construction cam, visit newtoyotastadium.com.
First thing I do every time I get to the stadium, look over there and check out the progress being made on that. It's gonna look terrific.
Kappas back to his feet. And because of that yellow card, we'll be able to stay out on the field and successfully killed a couple of minutes there.
Kappas
still walking a little gingerly.
Excuse me, right? Kappas and Kaike, I think, having a really good game in the middle tonight. Kappas especially, though.
Austin already made 3 changes. Look like they're readying their final 2 of the night. 20 minutes to go. CJ Fodry's one of them. Recently scored his first MLS goal last week. Now let's restart play. Shaq Moore takes the free kick. Switching play out towards Ramiro, who won the header.
Yeah, that was an important one. It was a game winner against Kansas City.
Owen Wolf lays it off for Pereira. First time ball in behind along the left side. Bringing it forward here, Biro. Going to cut back and eventually finds the ball through for a Zuni. Shot blocked by Shaq Moore.
Shaq Moore read that well. He's having such a good game at that left center back spot. Not his position, not at all. Not his side, not his position. He's doing well.
It was actually Robert Taylor's first involvement there, setting up the shot for Ozuni. Another yellow card out for a Dallas player. Kaike defending there from the wrong side after a giveaway.
Yeah, it's tough on Kaike, but I don't mind him making that foul right there. Free kick's going to come at about 10 yards outside the 18 along the left side, so shooting range, but not terribly threatening.
Here comes those final 2 changes for Austin. Zane Kolmanich on for Biro. And Owen Wolf withdrawn for CJ Fodry.
So at this point, Austin has now literally changed out half of its field players. Eric Quill still yet to make his first sub, although here come a couple right now.
Wolf, who had put up 8 goal contributions in his last 7 games, held off the score sheet tonight.
And not happy, but he's either not happy about coming out or not happy being down 2-0 because he just kicked a big old water bottle on the sideline.
Free kick here for Austin, 73rd minute. Kolmanich whips this one towards the back post, just over the head of Heinz Ike. Brought down here, now set up for a shot for Pereira from the top of the box. And Farrington will volley it clear. So it looks like Julio and Abubakar will be the 2 changes for Eric Quill and FC Dallas.
Yeah, he sort of wondered if Abubakar will come in for Shaq Moore, and Shaq Moore go over to the right side. Ramiro maybe into the midfield.
Patrickson there chasing Gallagher back to Svatok. Heinz Ike put under pressure by Farrington. Dallas just doing a good job to keep Austin as far away from the goal as possible. They're all the way back to Stuver now, as you can tell. And here's a giveaway from Stuver. Kaike wins it in midfield. Patrickson juggles it up to Kappas, trying to juggle it back towards him. Header won by Svatok. Sets for Farrington on the volley. Off target. Not a bad chance for Dallas there off the mistake from Brad Stuver.
Farrington busy tonight. I believe that's his 5th shot. Talked about Dallas averaging 8.6 shots over the last 5 matches. Not a lot, but Logan Farrington doing his part to upturn that number because, like I said, that was his 5th by himself.
Pereira. Gallagher's coming from right back. Gets it out wide for O'Brien. Pereira looking for the run at the back post of Robert Taylor, who will scamper to keep this one in play near the corner flag. Sets it back for Kolmanich. Kolmanich, low cross, defended at the near post by Ebiaga. And Farrington will dribble it clear with 2 defenders for company. Just holds them off. Maintains possession.
Great job by Farrington on the turn, then having the strength and technical ability to hold off the challenges.
Dallas have a throw in, and first they're going to make these changes. Kaike off. And I think that is the rotation you expected, Steve, as Abubakar comes on, and Farrington off for Anderson Julio, who will provide that threat in behind the rest of the way. Both Dallas players go off on the opposite side. Shaq Moore shifts out to right back. Ramiro moves into midfield with Kappas. And Julio joins the attack.
Kaike, 75 minutes, covers a lot of ground in there, gets into a lot of duels. He's had a good match. Logan Farrington, we just talked about how busy he was tonight. Good contributions from both of those over 75 minutes.
Shaq Moore and Ramiro made a little bit of a mess of that throw in just now. Both of those shifted into different positions. Austin with possession along the back line in the defensive half. Sabovic cleaned out there by Ramiro.
Sabovic not happy either. He got the foul call.
Wide with Robert Taylor. 3 Austin players wait at the top of the box. Wide for Kolmanich, and now Pereira is joining in. Sabovic back to Danny Pereira. Bending ball in, just cannons off the shoulder of Petar Musa out for a throw.
I mean, the game looks just like, second half looks just like the first, with Dallas really pushing hard over about 25 minutes and Austin slowly gaining control, but right now Dallas doing okay. You're giving up ground right now, Ryan, but not giving up a lot of clear-cut chances. They do get a corner kick out of that one.
That one out for another throw, or corner, sorry, but no Owen Wolf out there now, so it's going to be Ozuni to take. as Farrington gets a round of applause from the fans, making his way across to the bench. It'll be Kolmanich instead to take an outswinger right on top of Jacob Jackson, who applies 2 fists to punch it clear.
Nice work in traffic there. Jackson doing nothing wrong tonight so far.
Kolmanich has it again wide. Whips in across, defended by Ramiro, behind for another corner. As Kaike now hears it from the crowd. Austin goes short from the corner. A ball whipped in towards the top of the 6-yard box over the head of Obrion. Last touch off a Dallas player. Comes across. Kolmanich will take, this time an in-swinger from the near side. Tussling has already resumed before Kolmanich has even put the ball down. Bubakar in there matched up with Fatak. Zuni just threw himself to the ground.
A little bit of contact there from Kappas. Had a lot of conversations on these corner kicks, haven't we?
Victor Rivas heading towards a career high in words spoken. Now another corner for Kolmanich. Whipped into a dangerous area, headed away by Petr Musa. Urgide retrieves it on the far side. Plays the ball ahead for Patrickson. And Patrickson is fouled there. Julio and Kamungo had the same idea of trying to sprint in behind. They didn't get that opportunity.
80th minute here. You just want to see Dallas. I'd love to see him just eat up a little bit of possession. Eat up the clock with a little bit of possession. Obviously, they're taking their time on this free kick.
I'd love to see Anderson Julio get on the score sheet if they can create an opportunity for him in these final 10-plus minutes. Here's Musa trying to flick it on towards Julio. Headed away by Austin. Julio without a goal since May. Missed time with injury after such a good start to life in Dallas. Game winner back in week 1. Even if it's a roll off the bench, if he's in confident firing form, that can be a huge weapon for Dallas in these final 5 games after tonight.
Yeah, and they need him to find that spring form again, because he just hasn't quite found the rhythm since he had that long injury layoff and got back on the field.
Kamungo puts Ramiro in a difficult spot there with a throw-in into midfield. Ibiaga just about able to clean it up, and now there's all kinds of room for Shaq Moore to bring the ball forward. Shaq Moore approaching the 18-yard box, 1 step over, looking to create some space. And the space closed on him. Cuts it back for Ramiro. Ramiro, first-time ball, looking for Julio, takes it off the chest. Sent up into the air by the Austin defender.
Ramiro just did it again. I mean, his willingness to play that early ball forward has just been so important tonight, right from the jump.
Austin trying to go quick. Patrickson doing some nice defensive work there just to make Gallagher turn back. Give a chance for the red and blue jerseys to get back in formation. There's a ball whipped in, dangerous area. Bubakar going to ground there, volleying that clear. Musa finds Julio, space here, 1v1 in open field. Anderson Julio now, this is exactly where he wants to be, onto his right foot, low shot towards the back post, just wide. Musa setting him up there to go one-on-one. He was able to create the space to shoot, but just couldn't keep it on target.
I did so well there to carve out that little bit of room along the right side. Just got Spatak twisting and turning there. Just didn't quite hit the ball the way he wanted to into that, aiming for that back post.
Gallagher all the way back to Stuver. And Musa's interested in that one. Just about reaches the goalkeeper, launches it long. Abubakar wins the header. Space in midfield for Ramiro, who receives it. Shaq Moore all the way back to Jackson. All kinds of space and time for Christian Kappas in the middle of the field here. Eventually turns and fires it out to Abubakar on the left of the Dallas back three. Musa and Patrickson unable to connect there. Pereira brings it away. O'Brien. Nice tackle there from Bernie Kamungo. Ibiaga read it as well, looking to get Dallas going the other way. Anderson Julio and Heinz Zyke arriving at just the same time. The ball skews wide, and there's maybe a half chance there for Julio.
Shaq Moore, Ibiaga, Osasi, everybody along the back line, I think having a really good match. Bernie Kamungo obviously having a good match, contributing that goal from the left wing back position.
Austin looking to start a late comeback here with O'Brien. Central position, sends it wide for Gallagher up the right side, whipping it in, header away by Uragide. And since making the shift, 2-5 at the back, Dallas really improving in terms of goals against. And in this type of game state with a 2-goal lead, it's almost comfortable for them. Austin just playing around the circle, looking for options, really nothing in areas to hurt against this Dallas defensive block.
Yeah, Dallas is 5-2-3. Definitely has changed into a 5-4-1 now.
Gallagher whipping the cross in towards the back post. Shaq Moore's got a beat on it and wins the header, and now he's got space to run into. Doesn't immediately see the option, so he checks back. Finds Kappas in midfield. Kappas to Kamungo. First time ball from Kappas to Musa. Set back for Patrickson. Patrickson switching the play. A lot of space for Shaq Moore on the opposite side. Shaq Moore almost reluctantly bringing it forward. Now finds Ramiro in a central position. Ramiro slides it over to Bernie Kamungo here on this left side. Abubakar, one-touch passing. Kappas back to Delgado. Got a little loose with it, but managed to recover the ball. First time ball from Kappas down the line. Spins perfectly into the path of Bernie Kamungo. To the byline, cross swung in, and Stuver there makes the catch.
Dallas holding the ball for about a full minute there. Really nice job in possession.
And now 3 runners the other way for Austin. Uragide, the one-man back line, just marshalling the situation against Robert Taylor. Austin keeps possession. Now Uragide back in the middle of the defense. Zuni dropping deep. He turns and faces and sees the entire Dallas team between him and the goal.
Yeah, Eva Peter Musa back defending now, so you're right, it's all 11.
And sort of a hopeful ball lifted over the top there by Savovich is comfortable for Jake Jackson. As we're going to see a return to action for Pedrinho, first time in a while for him. He's the latest to be called over from the Dallas subs bench. Jackson sends the punt long. Header won by Kolmanich at the other end, but straight out of play. And I feel like you rarely see a game that feels as decided with 5 minutes to go as what we're watching right now. Austin sort of understanding that Dallas is right in their element, defending deep. And even when Dallas has a chance to go forward, they look a little too tired to make the most of it.
Well, they're not going to commit a lot of guys forward, and they're going to keep numbers behind the ball, even in possession. No reason to go crazy here looking for a third goal when the game's in hand.
Possession here. Abubakar out to Kamungo. Put under pressure by Fodry, goes back to Abubakar.
I love the Dallas. It's just understanding the assignment here, Be nice and patient in possession. Just keep the ball away from those guys in the white shirts, and you'll be fine.
Ramiro, nice ball out to Bernie Kamungo. First time ball finds Patrickson. Here's Petter Musa, central position, poked in behind for Anderson Julio. Make it 3. He's back on the score sheet the first time since May. That's the exclamation point on the night.
And there you go. You patient possession, you probe and probe and probe and just let him fall asleep a little bit. Then you find Petter Musa. That just scored goals. He knows how to make a pass too. Just picked up another assist on the night. Now he's got a goal and an assist as he just finds Anderson Julio, puts the ball right in a nice spot for him. A little 6 or 7 yard pass, puts the ball right about at the 12-yard spot, splits a couple of defenders while he's making that pass. Anderson Julio, all he's got to do is slide it past Stuver at about 12 yards. He does that 3-0.
Slight hint of offside. I think he managed to hold his run. And if he does, we're talking about another goal and an assist night for Petter Musa, as he continues to skyrocket in the record books in terms of goal contributions, up to 22 on the season with that latest assist. Oh, but it's not going to count. Victor Rivas is headed across to check the monitor, but usually that means it's going to be ruled out. It would be unfortunate, particularly on an individual level for Anderson Julio.
Well, the problem is Anderson Julio is literally right on the 18-yard mark there that marks the penalty area. His right foot is just ahead of the line, whereas the last defender is just below the line. Uh-oh, Ramiro just picked up a yellow card.
Well, that was unnecessary.
It's just nuts. He's got to be smarter than that. They need him on the field.
My only question about this is, are they showing us the exact frame where Musa's contacting the ball?
Well, you know, you're right, Ryan. The kick point is always critical because it's very close. Literally by the, he's going to be offside by the width of the 18-yard penalty area line.
It would have been an assist for Patrickson and Petter Musa. And that first goal since May for Anderson Julio. You know, maybe in terms of confidence, they all count the same, seeing him hit the net there, whether it goes down as a goal or not.
Heck of a pass anyway by Musa as he splits two defenders.
As you can hear, the final decision is no goal, as Pedrinho is now joined by Sebastian Leggett, ready to make their way into this game. Ramiro taken off. Now it's really unfortunate he picked up that yellow card as he was about to make way. He'll be replaced by Leggett, and Patrickson will be replaced by Pedrinho.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Ramiro picked up that yellow card because he got a little too close over there to the referee's monitor as Victor Rivas was taking a look at that play.
Pedrinho's last action for FC Dallas was July 12th, the 2-0 away defeat. He started at LAFC. He's on for Patrickson in that attacking midfield role.
All he's got to do is help them keep possession over the last 6 minutes of stoppage time.
He's intercepted this ball from Stewart, but couldn't keep it in the field of play.
Look, you know, he's been in manager's doghouse a little bit, so now he's got a chance. Just 6 minutes, go out there, run around, keep possession when you can, create chaos when they have the ball. Show your manager you want to get back out there for him.
Throw in towards Obrian, lay off back to him. They'll switch the play with Kolmanich. Taylor driving from outside to in here. So we played a minute and a half of the 6 added on. Back to 2-0. Kolmanich wide on the left, chased back. Sabovic twisting and turning back to Komanic, whipped in. Ibiaga wins the header. He's got the armband on now for Dallas. Musa first time ball, springs Pedrinho into some space here on the near side. Kamungo emptying the tank to make his way forward. Pedrinho, it can be a showman, some nice step overs there, beats Ozuni. Pedrinho now into the 18, Pedrinho left-footed shot, saved by Stuver. Eager to make an impression.
Carried that ball a long way to get that shot off.
Pereira will walk it forward into the Dallas half now. Stick around after the final whistle. We've got the post-game show coming up. If you're watching on YouTube on the Burncast, get your comments, get your questions in for us to discuss as Garrett joins myself and Steve to break down all the action tonight. Next up for Dallas, Colorado at home next week. Next up for Austin, as we mentioned a couple of times, Minnesota on Wednesday in the Open Cup.
LAFC is going to get the job done against San Jose, so this win for Dallas is going to leave Eric Quill's men 1 point out of that last playoff spot, right behind San Jose.
Colorado and Houston playing tonight. Those are two more teams in the fight. Colorado leading 1-0 at home. Salt Lake 1-0 up as well against Kansas City in Sandy, Utah. Vancouver 4-0 over Philadelphia, who are leading the Supporters' Shield race. Not the only lopsided first half scoreline we've seen across Major League Soccer tonight. Columbus was up 5-0 on the road at Atlanta United. All the way back to Stewart, maybe for the last time. The fans let him hear it. As Nolan Norris will be the final substitution for Eric Quill, just back from international duty with the US U20s. Here's Ozuni. Ozuni looking for the pass forward, bounces back towards him. Sabovic centrally goes back for Pereira.
Seattle playing at home tonight. Looks like they're going to draw 2-2 with the LA Galaxy.
Well, Dallas didn't get to play LA when they were the absolute worst team I've ever seen in Major League Soccer for 10 weeks. And now they're sort of rounding into form, and we're going to play them twice.
Yeah, I watched some bad Chivas teams back in the day.
There's a ball whipped in from the far side and headed goalward, but off target by CJ Fodry, and that will bring Nolan Norris into this final minute of action, replacing Petar Musa.
And maybe the last opportunity for Austin to get something on the board. So it looks like Jacob Jackson not too far away from getting a clean sheet in this one.
Well, when Petar Musa lines up opposite a Texas rival, the ball's going to hit the back of the net. He did it again tonight. 3 goals, 3 assists, and 5 against Austin. An even better record than his time against Houston. What more can you ask for from the Dallas number 9? And Norris goes into midfield to see this game out. And Jackson has forgotten where the goal kick is supposed to be taken. Just taking his time. Jackson goes long, header one in midfield for Austin. Abubakar will get this one all the way back to Jacob Jackson. Rolled out to Urquide, final seconds ticking away. Nice drop of the shoulder there from Abubakar, and here's Pedrinho. That's his specialty, the drop of the shoulder. Gets it out to Kamungo. Back to Pedrinho. Closed down there and dispossessed by Heinz Ike, and then Norris is going to pick up a yellow card. Didn't get a touch on the ball. I don't think he's going to get a touch on the ball tonight, but he's ended up in the referee's book. O'Brien gives the ball away there. Leggett intercepts, and Jackson launches it long. think that would be enough there in terms of the added time. We played an extra minute, and that will be enough. Austin comes to Frisco and loses once again. They've never won here, and that streak continues tonight. Dallas 2-0. Flying start to the first half, flying start to the second half, and some great defensive work in between, Steve, for a team that's pushing towards the playoff line, up against a rival, up against their former manager tonight. They checked a lot of boxes.
Yeah, they really did. Watching right now, Nico Estevez coming over. A lot of big hugs for a lot of guys that he recognizes in this stadium. But this is the night to talk about FC Dallas, because we talked about how you want to just stay relevant in the playoff chase. Well, they certainly did tonight with a convincing 2-0 win.
We'll talk about that and more on the post-game show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on the broadcast, wherever you're watching or listening on the FC Dallas app or on YouTube. For myself and Steve, we'll be right back with the post-game show. But Dallas wins this one tonight, 2-0 over Austin. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Marco Farfan, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 90 minutes here at Toyota Stadium, it ends FC Dallas 2, Austin FC 0, meaning Dallas wins the rivalry series between the two, having earned a 1-1 draw in Austin last month. Hello everybody, it is the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. It's also brought to you by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Garrett Melcer, and I'll be joined by tonight's broadcast crew, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, in just a little bit. Well, I hope every fan here at Toyota Stadium tonight was in their seats right at kickoff, because Petar Musa wasted no time scoring the opening goal after just 91 seconds. It was the 6th fastest goal in FC Dallas history, and here's how that sounded on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Right foot stabs it towards Farrington. Farrington back heel. Petar Musa all alone. Petar Musa off the mark. Here we go.
What a cheeky little back heel that was.
The strike partnership, Moosington, whatever you want to call it. Eyes in the back of the head of Logan Farrington to pick out Petar Musa, who scores against a Texas rival. He does it every week.
That was the only goal of the first half, but the second 45 started in much the same way for FC Dallas, as it took just 3 minutes to double the lead. Goalkeeper Jacob Jackson, who is making his home debut tonight, started a counterattack that was finished off by Bernard Kamungo to make it 2-0.
And Jackson sees a counter opportunity here, punting it long, looking for Patrickson, brings it down on the halfway line, 3v3 if they go quickly. In behind here for Bernie Kamungo, all alone. Bernie Kamungo brings it down, rolls it past Stuver, and it's the perfect start once again in the second half. There's the energy required. Jackson picks up a second assist there as he finds Patrickson, who plays it across. Bernie Kamungo makes no mistake with the finish. 2-0 Dallas.
And we thought Dallas actually had a third goal when Anderson Julio beat Brad Stuver in the 89th minute, but VAR called it back for a correct but marginal offside call. And with that, let's get you the final match stats presented by UMB Bank. Tonight's possession battle was won by Austin FC with 58% to Dallas's 42. In terms of shots, Dallas had 15 to Austin's 10. 7 of those were on target for Dallas and just 3 for the away side. In terms of corners, Dallas did not have a single one tonight, but Austin had 6. And in terms of saves, Jacob Jackson, who, like I said, was making his home debut, had the 3, while there were 5 for the visiting Brad Stuber. In terms of fouls, 19 for Dallas, just 7 for Austin, and what was a chippy game here and there. And that is also exemplified by the yellow cards, 5 for the home side and 3 for Austin FC. Now we'll get you to the brains of the operation. Tonight's broadcasters, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. Ryan, we'll start with you. What are your takeaways from tonight's win?
Man, that was just, it checked every box tonight. I think Dallas got off to a fast start, something that's been so difficult for them to do this season. Coming into tonight, they conceded first in 19 out of 26 games. They're basically spotting the opponents at goal most weeks, and so to come out with that fast start, we talked to Paxton Pomykal on the broadcast about the intensity, the effort, the limiting mistakes, everything that goes into a fast start, and then Dallas showed it to us. 90 seconds in for the Musa goal, and then second half they did the same thing after, weathering some of the storm. And, both halves really outside of those fast starts, that's all it took. 2 goals and then, do what they've done really well over the recent weeks, and that's batten down the hatches, use that 5 at the back shape, limit the opposition to very little. I mean, so many positive performances to look at all the way across the field tonight.
Steve, how you feeling over there?
I tell you what, tonight I think they got one of the most complete, balanced performances we've seen all year. Started out exactly the way you'd want to start out at home against the Texas rival. A lot of energy. I think they caught Austin a little bit unaware with the high press with that energy. They had Austin, really sort of at 6s and 7s over the first few minutes of the game. They took their chances well, including that, that early goal. So I think what you saw was Dallas recently. We talked about it in pregame. They've had the defending. Obviously, I want to talk about this as we get into the postgame show, but they have the goalkeeping, obviously, from all kinds of places. Tonight, what they added was that attacking balance. They really played on the front foot. They looked to go forward, especially early. The passes, there was just a confidence there. So the passes were coming quick. They were 1 and 2 touch quick going forward. And as a result, they got the goal. They came out in the second half the same way. Kept the initiative, and really turns into a pretty comfortable 2-0 win.
Tonight was the last Texas rivalry game of the season for Dallas. We know they lost the Texas Derby Series to Houston, meaning El Capitan will head back down I-45 for Houston next year.
Copenhagen is one of the teams that they're chasing, right? It's probably an outside shout that they'll pass Austin, but now if they do, they have that sort of leverage over them. I can't remember if the first tiebreaker is head-to-head or goal difference. Wins
okay.
First. So maybe it doesn't come into play, but at the very least, you get points and sort of a 6-pointer for the playoff positions as well as a rivalry game. I mean, it checked every box, like I said.
Well, I'll tell you something else that it does. This is the 4th win at home. You don't want to be setting records, on the wrong side. A couple of times in the franchise 30-year history, they've only won 5 at home. That's the low. So they have 2 games left. If they can win both of them, they don't match that record.
Well, Ryan kind of mentioned the playoff race. Dallas does move from 12th to 11th with tonight's win, which means they're actually 1 point behind San Jose in that last spot for the play-in game, which the winner of that goes into the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs proper. A little bit confusing there because Real Salt Lake is still in 10th, 1 ahead of Dallas with 1 game in hand. But, 3 points tonight was absolutely huge for at least kicking off what could be a run to make the playoffs, Steve.
Yeah, that's what we just talked about, how you want to stay relevant in the conversation. And, and you're right. There's a little bit of a logjam there, but the point is you stay very close, right on the tail of that last place team, whether it's the last playoff spot, the team that occupies that spot right now. It's whether it's going to end up being San Jose or RSL, whoever it is, you're right there in the mix. And now every time you can get a win, even get a point on the road, you just stay in the chase. And I just want Dallas, if they're not occupying a playoff spot as they get into Vancouver and that last match, what we call decision day, I want them in position that they could, get into that last spot with a result on that day. So just stay in the chase, stay in the hunt.
Let's get into some individual performances from tonight. Jacob Jackson making his home debut in goal. We know he had 12 saves last week, which earned him the MLS Player of the Match Day. Tonight, he gets a clean sheet and an assist for kicking off that counterattack that Bernard Kamungo finished off. I mean, it's been the perfect start to life at FC Dallas for Jacob Jackson. If you're Eric Quill, knowing that Michael Colodi is back from suspension soon, can you drop a guy who's just put in a 12-save performance, an assist, and a clean sheet in his first 2 games?
I mean, coming into the season, did anyone have on their bingo card selection headache in goal, much less selection headache between Michael Colodi, Jacob Jackson, who wasn't even here yet? Martin Poss is, we think not that far away from getting back into at least into training. We've seen him putting out videos on social media of him running, which, getting back into things from the hamstring injury. So it's a real selection headache because, to your point, Jake Jackson has conceded 1 goal now across 160 minutes. He's gotten assists. He's made 15 saves. I mean, he's done absolutely everything that you could ask from him. Coming into what could have been a really difficult situation, St. Louis stood up to the task, and then having a whole week just to be dialed in and focused, a good week of training, and know that he was going to start this week. He showed us as well some different qualities with the ball as well. So really happy with him, and what a bargain it's proved to be, picking him up, I believe, for a 3rd-round draft pick, or basically the minimum that you could get a player for in a trade in Major League Soccer. And he's shown his quality since arriving in just over a month ago.
And by the way, guys, I don't even think I picked out this a while ago. The first goal, that early goal, started on a long ball from Jacob Jackson. Musa brings it down. He's able to hold off Pereira. He actually gives him just a little bit of a forearm shiver there and holding him off. That's where he finds Logan Farrington. Farrington with the back heel. So, it's not going to be an official assist for Jacob Jackson. But I'll tell you what, guys, look. If Dallas doesn't get into the playoffs this year, it ain't going to be the goalkeeper's fault because
any of them, yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, Martin Passes, we all know what he is. Colodi came in as a backup. He's done. He was just wonderful. He got to. Did he get a shutout in his first or second start?
For both.
It was
I think both.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Did he get?
No, the first start for sure.
Yeah,
first start was in RSL. He got the 1-0.
So that
shutout.
was his first start.
Yeah.
So then and then Jacob Jackson comes in. He gets a clean sheet in his first start and an assist, and he contributes on that goal. And we talked about it in training. We saw it in the match the other day as he got in for the red carded Colodi. He's got a big foot, right? Colodi's got a big foot, but I think Jackson's might even be bigger and paid off on both goals tonight.
3 quality starting goalkeepers. You don't see that too often, so shout out to Drew Keyshawn, FC Dallas' longtime goalkeeper coach, because he has whipped those guys into shape. And I don't mean literally, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was literally whipped as well. He's
You'll get after him out
quite
there.
An intense guy, Drew Keyshawn is. Let's talk about Bernard Kamungo. He got a goal tonight from his wingback spot, and he also did his job defensively as well. I think maybe there were some eyebrows raised when he was first put in that position by Eric Will, because we'd seen Bernard Kamungo play wingback last season, and it maybe he looked a little shaky at times. But after the last 2 performances in that spot, he's looked really impressive. Ryan, do you think that maybe Eric Quill has found something and found a way to get Bernard Kamungo playing that position confidently?
Yeah, because I mean the proof is in the pudding now. 3, 4, 5 straight weeks. It's either 4 or 5 straight starts for him in that position, and I feel like he's grown week on week. And this was the first game when I felt like he finally started to add back in some of those attacking pieces. We've seen moments from him in terms of on the ball, progressing the ball, but he was dangerous in the final third tonight all the way leading up to scoring a goal. And I think that was the final piece to put in a complete performance at wingback. It was understandable that he was going to shift his focus more towards the defensive end as he was learning the position, keep things conservative, rely on the center back next to you and the midfielders in front of you. But now he's really growing into his own, and after we saw him score the goal, he took on a player and got another shot away. I mean, the confidence is only going to do him a world of good. He's absolutely back into his best form that we've seen maybe since he first broke onto the scene.
Well, Garrett, I talked about how the team collectively had that balance tonight, right? We talked about 8.6 shots average over the last 5 games. Not enough. They have 15 shots tonight, so they added the balance. Well, individually, I don't think nobody exemplified that more than Bernard Kamungo. I think it really helped that Dallas really pushed their lines forward. It allowed those wingbacks to contribute more into the attacking half. But I tell you what, nobody more than him exemplified that, because he did the job again tonight on defense. We knew that Osman Bakari out in transition, that was the danger area for Austin. I think he contained that really well, had some good moments. Shaq Moore really helped him over there on that. But then He has his moments in the attack too. Really gets into the offense a lot in the first half. Gets the goal in the second half. So he and Shaq Moore both did a great job tonight of doing all the defending, but getting forward regularly too.
And Bernie's a super interesting player. Obviously, his background and his story is very, very unique. But his superpower, from what I've seen on him on the field over the last few years, is timing runs in behind and beating the offside trap and then finishing 1v1 against the goalkeeper. That's what he did so well at the end of 2023 when he really broke out. We didn't see that too much last year. And so I was worried that when he went back to wingback, that was going to prevent him from having those moments and doing what he's best at, which is timing those runs. But if he can start doing that from wingback, especially at home when you might have a bit more of the ball and you can, push those outside backs a higher more often, I think this could be a really, really good spot for him.
Yeah, and shout out to Patrickson as well with the assist. It wasn't an easy one. It sort of played out in front of our eyes. We knew the pass that he needed to make. He knew the pass that he needed to make, but as he received it from the goalkeeper, he had 2 touches to do it. The first one sort of popped up on him, and he just struck it on the full volley on his weaker left foot, and it was perfect. It put Bernie in behind, and he, applied the finish with composure. So shout out as well for Patrickson, who got his 4th assist tonight. Would have been 5 if that 3rd goal had stood.
You think there was a moment over there, guys, where Nico Estevez looked at that goal, thought about playing Bernie Kamungo at wingback when he didn't do quite as well.
That's what I thought it was going to look like, yeah.
It's not Bernie. Why couldn't you do that for me?
He absolutely needed him to, because last season was all about trying to find a left wingback. It was Bernard Kamungo, it was Dante Seeley. Neither quite found their footing in that spot, and Dallas' season really suffered for it. You mentioned Patrickson with that great assist there, and I'm curious what y'all made of his overall performance, because he's kind of a player of highs and lows. Some games he's phenomenal all throughout. Some games he has moments where he's good and others where it's not so good. And some games it looks like he just doesn't know where he's supposed to be on the field. Overall, Steve, what'd you make of him tonight?
I'm starting to get an idea, though, that Patrickson Delgado, even in those moments or even in those games or maybe this 20-minute stretch of a game where he's not having a lot of impact, he can still be the guy that can make the pass, that can have that moment. I haven't really seen him as that guy yet. We talk about that guy being a DP. Even if he's not having a good game, it's this high-level player that you keep him on the field because he can still have that moment. I'm starting to see Patrickson as that guy, because you're right. There were moments when there were stretches where I didn't notice Patrickson out there tonight. But then there are other times when he's making a good passer. That was a terrific pass. He had a terrific pick out on Bernie Kamungo's goal, and that goal meant everything. I mean, that was the goal that I think really sort of told Nico Estevez, maybe this one we just write it off and we go and worry about our Open Cup match coming up on Wednesday. So I'm starting to see him as that guy that even when he's not having a great match, he can still break the game open for you.
Yeah, and I think something that Eric Quill has spoken about, and then even Paxton Pomykal next to us in the booth today spoke about, was his commitment to the physical side of the game as well, and how that has improved over the course of the season. I was just watching him, and before he came off in the final 10 minutes of the game, those final 10 minutes he was out there, he was sprinting back, tracking back against Gallagher the entire time. That's not something that we saw from him last season. That's not something that we saw from him even earlier this season. So I think he's really upped his commitment in terms of his effort levels, his fitness, and just being able to be out there for longer, be effective for longer, because even in his best games last season, we always felt like he faded in the second half. And I think his fitness has really come along this year, and that's helped him maintain that sharpness in the second half, where he picked up an assist today.
And let me say this, tactically, it's so important that you get that, because they're playing this 5-man back line. Kaike and Kappas are the midfielders ahead of them. But if you get caught 5 in the back and then just 2 in the midfield, that's not enough in there. So it's important that one of the guys, usually sort of the guy on the backside, that he tucks in to become that third midfielder, so it's not a 5-2, it's a 5-3. 5 men in the back, 3 midfielders. And, Logan Farrington puts in the work to be that guy that drops in. But tonight, and most of the time, Patrickson, he's willing to get back in there, become the third midfielder, and, put in the effort to do that. And it's so important in this formation that, it's a 5-2-3, but if one of those guys, if you get caught with all 3 of those guys up, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. You need 8, not 7 back there.
And you mentioned Christian Kappus right there, and I think he's been a really good addition, especially for Patrickson in that midfield spot, because I think they're quite opposite players in a lot of ways. I just mentioned that Paxton can be up and down in terms of his performances in games and with different games. I think Kappus might be kind of the opposite. I feel like he's the steady Eddie. You know what you're going to get from him. He's always going to be in the right position, very, very calm on the ball, and usually he's helping out defensively, whereas Patrickson can sometimes get locked into the, a more attacking spot. If he presses, he doesn't always get back in the right times, especially in those games where he doesn't feel as confident as you'd hope he should be. So I think it's a great job by FC Dallas to identify Christian Kappus as a guy they want to bring back, especially for Eric Quill, knowing him so well, because I think he's really slotted in there and just made everything a little bit more cohesive. What do you think of Christian Kappus tonight, Ryan?
Again, another 7.5, 8 out of 10 performance, and he's only continued to grow over the recent weeks. I think it was a performance in which I noticed his impact a little bit longer into the game as well, which is something that he had maybe struggled with in terms of impacting the game in the second half. Tactically disciplined, adds height for set pieces. He's bringing a ton to the 11 right now for Eric Quill and FC Dallas. And I don't think that expectations were really that high for him when he came back. It was like, it was a feel good story as well, bringing an academy player back that we wanted to have at the club originally. Had to go start his career in Europe. Now he's back with the club. There's a feel-good story of that, but it's sort of like, his career, had sort of petered out a little bit in Europe after he was playing at a high level with Brøndby, and we weren't sure what to make of him. And so when he comes back in and immediately, after 2 games, now you feel like 100% confident with him as a starter week in, week out. He's adding more and more to his game. His long passing, his range tonight was huge in helping Dallas, create overloads in the wide areas. He just brought everything tonight, and that's what you want from a midfielder. Can do a little bit of everything, and he's going, not only in the attacking areas but helping defensively. I mentioned it on the broadcast. I think outside of Paxton Pomykal at his best, he's the most two-way midfielder that Dallas has now, and if we ever get to see a midfield of those two together, that could be really exciting as well.
Here's some numbers for Kappus: 46 touches, 31 of 36 on his passing. 5 defensive actions, 7 passes into the final third. You mentioned those switching balls. His long ball accuracy, 5 of 6 connected. And, yeah, those big switches, over to one of the wing backs or to whoever he's hitting over there, it really helps open things up, create space. He had a really nice match.
Just speaks to what a coach's confidence in you can do for a player, because like Ryan said, Christian Kappus was not really playing in Europe for the last 6 months or so, but he comes here, doesn't really have much of a ramp-up time. He's kind of thrown right in, and then after a game or two, he's really playing at a high level now. Let's talk about the front line. I mean, it's Petter Musa once again. Took 91 seconds to score the opening goal and also got another assist tonight.
Well, I mean, almost.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
The assist was ruled out, but yes.
You're right.
In our hearts, he had another assist.
It was a great pass.
In our hearts. But that's 15 goals on the year. He's one away from his last season tally, most goals in back-to-back seasons in FC Dallas history. Steve, I mean, what more can we say about the guy?
What more we can say is that he's got a pretty good shot at establishing Dallas's single-season goals record. It stands at 18, and if you don't think that's important to players, you think back a couple of years ago when Jesus Ferreira was trying so hard on the final match day to break that record. He wanted it for himself, and he was just absolutely despondent after the match that he didn't get it. Now, I don't know. I haven't talked to Peter about whether he feels the same way, but I would think he would. Players like records, strikers like goal-scoring records, and he's got 5 matches, 6 matches now. 5 matches left, and he needs 3 goals to tie, 4 to break the record, to hold the record individually, and I would not bet against it.
Yeah, the only knock maybe against him getting the record is he did get that late yellow card today, and he's now 1 yellow card away from missing a game, which would be a real shame as he pursues that individual metric.
Yeah, and the other 3 players who have 18 goals in a single season for FC Dallas: Jason Kreis, Kenny Cooper, Jesus Ferreira. So those are some seriously big names in the history of this club, and I wouldn't put it past Petter Musa to match that or even surpass it. Lastly, let's talk about Anderson Julio. Like Ryan mentioned and reminded me, Anderson Julio's goal was called back for the offside. Do you think he can still take some confidence from that? Because it was a very good finish against a very good goalkeeper in Brad Stuver. And I think it's very important for him because I don't think Anderson Julio has been quite as impactful since he returned from the muscle injury that kept him out for about a month, because he had been, over the first 10, 12 games of the season, maybe Dallas' most important player. Ryan, do you think he can maybe build off that goal even though it didn't end up counting?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it wasn't his only moment as well. He had another one where he got out in the open field and beat his man, got the shot away, dragged that one a little bit wide. But I think he could be an absolute X factor, especially off the bench late in these final 5 games of the season. If Logan Farrington keeps doing what he's doing, for me, he's a lock in the starting 11. But there's few players I'd rather have available off the bench against tired legs. Anderson Julio just absolutely can blow past anyone, but particularly later in the game when they've had those miles on their legs, and that's the last person they want to see when the board goes up and he's coming in. Also, I think it gives him an opportunity to sit there and watch and see where the spaces are going to be, maybe who's cheating up, who he can get in behind easily. I think this substitute role actually suits him really well, and that's what he was accustomed to doing in Salt Lake. That's when he was really impactful, was coming into the game. He did it against Dallas last season when he came in and had, I think, a goal and an assist in that ridiculous draw. So I think down these final 5-game stretch of the season, it's not what he wants to be, I'm sure, is coming off the bench, but he could play a huge role if he can get that confidence back going.
I think the other thing is that he's getting a little bit more comfortable with the role he's being asked to play. Remember earlier this year, he was so good at finding that right center channel, finding that outside right channel because he was playing as a winger. Well, they've changed formations now, and he's being asked to play as mostly asked to play as an off striker. And I think it's just been a little bit of an adjustment for him.
Yeah, not a bad player to have as a super sub when you think about a tired defender with heavy legs who's been going up against Petter Musa for 70 minutes, and then you see Anderson Julio running onto the field. I don't relish that at all. Steve, I'll throw it to you because you just held up a piece of paper with something written on it, so go ahead and introduce that for me. I think it says something about Eric's lineup choices.
Well, that was just it. I think, what Eric told us yesterday as he decided between Logan Farrington and Anderson Julio, he said, I just think it's a game that sort of sets up better for Logan Farrington. Well, nailed it, right? Because right away he gets on, he gets the ball, gets the assist, and he says, and then I can bring Anderson in at some point, and do exactly what we saw him do out there. So I think he got that exactly right. We talked about how Ramiro as a wingback just looks to all of us like a duck out of water, and yet, man, he's making it work. I think he's been very good over there because he's just such a good, smart player. What he lacks in foot speed, he makes up in the way he thinks through the game and playing the angles. And then I think as we talked about in the pregame show, and what Eric talked about to us yesterday was that by playing him as a wingback, he gets all the quality players on the field because he's a quality player. So is Kaike. So is Kappas. If he keeps Ramiro in the middle in this formation, he's got to choose 2 of the 3, right? So I think he really got that one right. We wondered about Shaq Moore as a left center back. Man, he passed the test tonight for me. I mean, he did everything he needed to do with the ball on defense. So I just think that Eric's game plan, I think his personnel choices were absolutely dead spot on. And then whatever he said to get him going up the field, to get him playing with confidence, to get him playing more in Austin's end. He talked to us about how 37% last time against Austin, not enough possession. They suffered too much and having to defend too low for too long. Well, so what do you do? You push the game immediately. You get your guys to really commit to pushing the game into Austin's end. They ended up in the first half they had 47% possession. They ended up at 41, but that's because Austin was sort of having the ball a lot toward the end, trying to chase the game, chase the goal. So I just think Eric Quill really got it right tonight.
Yeah, and a moment for me for the center back trio. You mentioned Shaq Moore as well. Urguide and Ibiaga, I think, did absolutely everything asked of them tonight. Urguide super aggressive and front-footed as we've come to expect from him, but also the ability to cover for the other two when they got caught higher up the field, and he comes across and puts the fire out as we've seen him do so often this season. Those guys up against it, when they're sitting in a low block defending crosses, you put them up against anybody in Major League Soccer in that specific scenario. They do it so well, especially when a Boubacar comes in. And I think it's also credit to Eric Quill because he's talked to us at length about eliminating playing out of the back, eliminating mistakes, and maximizing the strengths, minimizing the weaknesses of the group that he has to work with. I think he's done that by, going more direct, but then also that allows them to do what they do best, and that's, win those contested headers, fight for the ball in the box, get those important clearances. Credit to everybody across the back line. I think Kamungo's man of the match because he grabs the goal and does well defensively, but all across the back line and Jake Jackson held it down, and it was a well-deserved clean sheet.
Well, I was remiss not to mention Logan Farrington's assist, so I'm glad Steve brought it up there.
Assist of the season?
I'll say,
Yeah.
I was about to ask that exact thing. Is that the best assist for FC Dallas this season? Right now, off the top of my head, I don't think I can think of a better one.
I mean, the opening day win against Houston, Moose's ball in behind was a really exciting one. It didn't have the same level of flair, but for me, that goal was probably one of my top 3 favorite moments of the season. So that's my only other contender that I can think of off the top of my head. We've had some really good crosses. Patrickson whipping one into Ibiaga, I think it was, in Cincinnati. That was another good one, but that back heel, man, that got the fans up off their seats, and Musa quickly put it away for the first goal. So it's definitely a favorite to win that award.
We did have the little Musa Acosta.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Combo, Musa playing a ball that in some kind of angle, some kind of space that none of us saw except for him. So those two kind of stand out for me.
That's a good shout right there, Steve. But I'm going to give the edge to this one, mostly because it's 2 strikers assisting each other. You don't see many 2-striker formations anymore, so it's always fun when one can assist the other on a goal like that.
And was that Moosington?
Moosington. How do we feel about it?
Yeah, no, I like it.
Okay.
Was that spur of the moment?
I thought about it maybe last season when they were sort of first breaking out and playing together, and finally got to use it tonight.
I never heard it. It was great. I like it.
Well, that's the first time I've ever won you over on a nickname, so there's a first time for everything.
It's much better than the legit nickname.
Yeah, let's not. That shall not be named.
We're not even talking about that.
Well, fellas, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Steve, anything?
Just a complete performance from FC Dallas. Nice to see.
Yep, and next one is now another 6-pointer. Colorado winning right now, but they're still within catching distance for Dallas in this final stretch of games. Hopefully Houston can grab a goal. I think a draw would suit Dallas best in that game, but even if they win that one, Dallas can draw within 2 points of Colorado and potentially up into those playoff positions with a win next week. So another big week of training, some selection headaches in a good way for Eric Quill this week. Where does he go in goal? Does he make any changes across the back line? Matching up with Colorado, they've got an exciting young American star now in Paxton Pomykal. We'll get to see him next week. Should be a good one. If you're not at the stadium, be sure to tune in on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Well, Ryan stole my outro because FC Dallas remains at home next week to take on the Colorado Rapids, which is and could be a 6-pointer in terms of the Western Conference playoff race. You can listen to all the action from that match right here on the FC Dallas Radio Network beginning at 7 p.m. next Saturday. That'll do it for tonight's post-game show. For our engineer, Barry Walters, for Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, I have been Garrett Melcer, and you've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer